Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? Back again with some of my brothers, and we going we gonna cook today. As you can see, the title of this video, this is all the way back when the Charlottesville event happened. And for those of you who see the title of the video that I made, how it's called "Black Liberal Woman Attacks White Caucasian Man." Essentially, the topic of this video is about white supremacy and what Black people can do to combat that, and how so-called white people can help. And it's just funny, like the whole dynamic of this video. It really shows you that for the most part, women aren't built to have these type of conversations, because literally it only takes one question by the Caucasian to throw the entire discussion haywire. But yeah, let's listen to them and let them go in.
We're sitting here talking about our people not white supremacists. We live in America, which is literally a white supremacist country built on American chattel slavery and the genocide of Native Americans. Is there a conversation to be had about fucking white supremacists? That's dumb. Have we all seen Atlanta? This is dumb. This is stupid. Like, yes, we live in a white supremacist country. Yes, all white people are fucking racist. They can learn, they can unlearn, but they are conditioned and socialized in a white supremacist country that tells them from the minute that they are born that they are better than everybody else and that they deserve everything. I don't care how great, amazing, wonderful their parents are, their family, their friends. At a certain point, they go out into the world, they read books, they listen to music, they watch television shows. Unless they're being raised like in the woods, like on some Nell type shit, they are being conditioned by our society to be racist, to be white supremacist. I don't make no distinctions between active, inactive. I don't set no hierarchies of racism. Oh, on a scale of not talking to your Trump supporter parents to a lynching, where are you falling on the racist scale? Like, no, like it's racism, it's racist. And I also think it's really funny how we talk in terms of these binaries, like as if, oh, if the media is capitalizing off of it, does that mean that there is not an impending race war? Like both things can be possible, both things can be true.
Well, actually, I just want to stop right there and just let her go on her little rant for a while. But it's actually funny how amped up and charged up she is, and the conversation just started. And you can already tell something like this is very emotional to her. But just to address her last point that she mentioned, how people use the excuse as the media, the media riling up things. That's because when you understand like how the society works on a high level, everything is basically a media propaganda just to incite basically our people to riot or protest or basically quote unquote come against the system. None of these quote unquote Black movements have ever been sincere or legitimate for the most part. They've always been controlled. Like for example, I'm not sure if any of you brothers have ever heard this, but you can look up a woman. Her name is hey, I'll be honest, JT. I'm gonna mute your mic. I think it's echoing from your end.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, for those of you brothers who've never heard of this, look up a woman. Her name was Julia Brown. This was like back in the 1960s. She was a CIA informant. For like 9 years. She was undercover in a lot of these communist movements. And she was able to discover that during that time period, and really it extends on today, all these movements have been controlled by like communist forces, specifically like the deep state of the United States. And it even applies to a lot of these movements that exist today. For example, Black Lives Matters. I'm sure a lot of you brothers know this by now. It was funded by George Soros. And it wasn't a coincidence, 2020, George Floyd happened, Breonna Taylor. Of course, those are tragic events. Not saying that they deserve to die or they deserve to have that event happen to them. But look what happened. Literally, people were rioting and protesting across the globe. Why? Because they care about Black people so much? No, because they were riled up and angered by the images they saw on TV, as well as certain things that they were programmed with via the media, things like that. But I've been going for a while. Any of y'all brothers have any comments?
I just want to add to that too, because, and first off, before I speak, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah Bashim Kakwadash. Salak had to take care of some shit real quick. But you see, you add on what you said too. In terms of these founders of these movements and whatnot being, basically pawns and puppets for the communist factors, such as your George Soros and people of that nature, your elite families and whatnot. they'll eventually show you where they true intentions lie anyway. Like I'm sure some of y'all done heard about one of them bitches that founded Black Lives Matter. She going out on a spending spree buying mansions out in LA right now. You know, just spending the donations of the people, you know, the people that actually donated to your so-called cause. You know, where the money at in the hood, man? Where the hood at today? The hood's still in shambles. The hood's still downtrodden. Still a church on every block in the hood, but right next to it is a damn project, man. You know, right next to it was a damn corner store that boarded windows, flies on the watermelon outside. You know, mold on the damn potatoes. You know, but there's a church and a Black Lives Matter donation box inside that bitch. You know, so they living it up, but the people still struggling. Where that money ain't been circulated, how that money ain't been circulated in the school system. You still got, you know, young boys and young girls still struggling on how to get to school. You still got, you know, issues and whatnot involving the neighborhoods. What Black Lives Matter? Where the presence of Black Lives Matter at in these the lives of young niggas in that's growing up in these environments, man. Where they gotta grow up around all these different tumults, all these different factions that are set up to keep them down, to keep them from having a first chance. What Black Lives Matter at to fix that, man? So do they really work for the people? Or they really advocates for the people? Or they advocates for the Caucasian elite that run them? You see Joe Biden, the shit going on right now with him wanting to put money in the hood, put money for crack pipes in the hood. You know, you see what's going on with that right there. You see that, so they work hand in hand. One is being used, you know, to outrightly. One is being used to have certain setups to outrightly like bring the people down, and then one is being used, you know, to get people emotionally riled up in their movement, but actually have no boots on the ground action where it actually matters, man, which is in the homes. Not about these protests and these rallies, not about these little charades and these little, you know, games and whatnot. These little, you know, foundations and all this, that, and the third that really serve no purpose. It's a big tax write-off. It's not about that. You know, they get you enraptured in via a name and a movement and using these different Freemasonic pawns to have your mind fixated towards them, man. But when you actually really analyze it, where that money being circulated back into the neighborhood, where that money being circulated back into the homes and the school systems and the community centers, the grocery stores that, you know, niggas grow up around, the corner stores where you gotta get a bunch of unhealthy processed food, the grocery stores where the damn chicken done expired last week and it's still on the shelves and shit. You know, where the money at being circulated there? Because that all impacts how people's, you know, that all impacts, you know, a person's individual life. What are programs to help, you know, keep the fathers in the home? Where all that at, man? It's all no, that's all the show. It's all about the show. It's all about the game and the charade, and they using the death, you know, well, quote unquote death, you know, of these high profile or heavily publicized black men that do get taken out by these different police factions and whatnot, you know, to circulate their agendas, man. You know, whether that be interpersonal in terms of these them coming up off of these different movements and whatnot, being these founders, or it be them pushing different societal agendas down your throat by proxy of the black man's demise, man. Whether that be the black T agendas, you know, the H sexuals agendas, but they're using the black man's face to push that, man. It ain't about, you know, bringing the black family together, you know, raising them up in the right home. None of that, man. It's all about provocation and, you know, pushing different agendas and them coming up off this shit, man. That's why I got no respect for these people.
Exactly, exactly. And those are all excellent points that you brought out. But you know, this is what's the issue is with the average liberal Negro. All that you'd be like, yes, brother, it's white supremacy. The system's against us. The system's against us. The system's against us. And we need white people to help us. We need white people to you know bestow some of their gifts and their privilege to us, so we can advance. We can move forward. But the problem is with a lot of these brothers and sisters as well. they've been indoctrinated with the concept of equality. They think that shit really exists. But I'm gonna just say it real quick. There's no such thing as equality. That shit does not exist other than in math. 2 + 2 is 4. 4 + 4 is 8. Okay, that's the only that's the only place where equality exists. In this realm that we live in, you're either the tail or you're the head. You're either above or you're beneath. You're either leading or you're following. You either get what you want out of life or you don't. You're either winning or you're losing. You're either in the process of losing or in the process of winning. And that's what what life is truly about. And that's why all the other nations and races of people, they understand this. Unfortunately, our race of people, for the most part, due to we can go to the systemic racism, slavery, losing our sense of history. But the real thing that really impacted us was obviously like the crack epidemic, and like Swint mentioned earlier, the father being taken out of the home, and this society actively trying to make sure that Black men aren't in the home. And by the way, that's the main thing in this society that's oppressing us men, aka us not being around for our children. And I mean as Black men as a whole, because obviously I don't have children, but the majority of Black men, at least in this country, they really if they're really not directly involved in their kids' lives. They're not in the home. They might, show up every once in a while, but at that point, you're not really a father. You might be like a cool uncle, who shows up, and you might take the kids out to go to get food or go to a restaurant, or, go out, maybe you hang out with them on the weekends. That's some shit that when I was a little kid, I used to do with my uncle, not my dad. My dad was around, but a lot of brothers, they're not able to experience that. And that's the main issue that we as a community, a quote unquote community, are suffering from. Not all this, white supremacy and white oppression. And most of that shit is really a distraction from us focusing on the things that we need to focus on.
And I got a point real quick on that too, because you mentioned a great point, when you was going into all the, the foundation of it. The foundation, like you were speaking on, I was speaking on earlier as well, is the father being in the home. See, all the reforms and different programs that are set up in the different community centers that they got in Pacific hoods and whatnot, boys and girls clubs and after school programs. All that's cool, all that's great, and all that is necessary too. Don't get it twisted. That shit is necessary too, because on the pathway to getting, which I mean, we all know it's not going to happen, but just hypothetically speaking, of course, on the pathway to getting back to the actual root of the problem and finding a real solution to the issues, you do need certain things in place for mainstay purposes. You do need certain things in place to keep things functioning somewhat or decently well while you're trying to get them to run optimally. In order for things to run optimally, you got to get to that point. You don't just go from shit to optimal overnight. You got things set up in place in as placeholders in the meantime and whatnot. So all these different programs, different reform type groups, and what they got in specific environments and all that is important. Don't get it twisted, but it doesn't negate that the need for the solution is still blatantly there. And I want to get this precept. This is the book of Proverbs, the 4th chapter, and the 1st verse. It says, "Hear, ye children, the instruction of a father, and attend to no understanding." So the process of being able to have a successful community is you got to have a community that knows wisdom and understanding. You got to have a community that knows the right way how to operate as a civil human being, man. That's why you see a lot of niggas, just by the time they turn 16, since they got no direction, they look for direction from an alternative type group. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They look in direction from alternative type group, whether that be a spiritual alternative type group or that be a physical alternative type group, both set for their destruction, man. That's why you see, a lot of young boys, since they grew up with no direction, they don't have the keys for what proper understanding is, man. So the only way they are trained up how to operate is, underneath the guides of, the white man's system. They don't got a mindset to operate outside of it. They don't got a mindset to understand and know how to maneuver and operate, know how to use this man's system to get to where they need to get. They don't have that mindset, right? Because they weren't trained and grown up, and raised with a mindset set towards true understanding. Because the school system, that's not understanding, that's indoctrination. the school system, doing your homework, going to college. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but going to college, getting a job, and all, that's indoctrination. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with it. You got to do what you got to do, but that's still indoctrination, not true understanding. When you get true understanding, you learn how to mobilize and you learn how to use different factions to help you get to what you need to do. That's what the white man do. But you learn how to operate with that king mentality and that king mindset. You feel me? So with the father not being in the home, and if they actually cared about the advancement of the community like they claim they do, that's the mindset they want to get to. They want to get to the mindset where brothers have businesses, where brothers have functioning, operations,
hospitals,
hospitals, all that, police forces, grocery stores, transportation systems, and all that. Where we actually had people who run the money and all that. If we actually had them things in our environments controlling, our environments, then we wouldn't have to worry about outside forces using us and oppressing us and shit like that. So they actually cared about getting to the root of the problem and advancing. They'll be focused on what programs, what things can we set, and what things can we turn around to that way we can keep marriages together. We can keep a bunch of babies from running around. We can keep having a whole line of family members where every single fucking woman got 2-3 baby daddies. We could and a lot of, let's be real, a lot of brothers too just knocking up women, just being reckless with they shit. Let's be real about that. Let's be real with that as well. Having like Judah be saying, protecting your seed before it leaves your body. Raising brothers up with all that, whether it be the men or the women, that's all falls under the realm of understanding, of true understanding, and that's what leads to communal, and nationwide, our nation Israelites advancement. Now, of course, we know it's not gonna happen in this society, but just speaking of from her perspective, she's just complaining and saying, oh, they're racist, they're racist, they're racist. We should have a fucking counter how many times she says the word racist. There's only so many times that you can say the word they racist. We know that already. We already know the white man is so-called racist. We already know that, majority of white people don't really care for niggas like that. We already know that, man. But what's the solution to how to fix it? How do you get to the root of the problem? And in terms of being able to advance, like you said, D-Ben, so that not just that you cohabitating with them, but you can actually be in their position where they're ruling over you. How do we get to that point right there? But it all comes back and all starts with the father being back in the home. That's why it says in Proverbs 4:1, the instruction of a father, man. What is it? What are the instructions? When you get a manual, what is an instruction manual? It tells you the steps and how to get something built, how to get something accomplished, if you want to build up the community, that starts with instruction. And that ain't gonna come from the women. We done seen that for the past 20 years. We done seen the product of that. It comes from the men. When the men are in the household, we actually have a chance. When the man is not in the household, we see the product of it.
Exactly. And this whole discussion, as we start to go in it further, is just an example of the lack of poor leadership, because the entire conversation, spoiler alerts, I'm sure you could tell just by the name and by the way this woman's carrying on for the first few minutes, is dominated by the women. But before going on, I just want to get a little bit more of the video, because we're only a minute in. I want to get to the real meat of it.
The media can be capitalizing off of it. That doesn't mean that it's not a real thing. Like, I don't understand what this either or type of logic is. I think this whole conversation is ridiculous. He's talking about, people polled, said that they're not white supremacists. Who's gonna write down on a piece of paper, yes, I am a white supremacist? No, nobody's gonna do that. Like 3%, right? 3% of people.
They're undocumented racists.
Right, but just because you don't want to come out, and say that you're racist, doesn't mean you're not a fucking racist. If you fucking clutch your purse when a black man walks by you, you a fucking racist. You might say, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. I love black people. I love the Migos. Like, bitch, you're still a fucking racist. This whole conversation is hilarious. And anyone that thinks that some real shit is not coming very soon is in denial.
Okay, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I do. I think that we're painting people with a broad brush.
So,
right? Yeah. I think unjustified. I'm allowed to respond though. Yeah. I think that most people in this country are like good people, right? No, seriously, black and white people march together on Selma and in DC.
Guys, no, let him finish his thought. Let him finish.
Seriously, I'm saying that most people in this country are good people. Right? They're not people that are supporting the Cape or have hoods in the back of their closets and waiting for the moment to march. I think we're blowing this up. I think that the real conversation we should have. The real conversation we should have is not, can we discern the psychological status of a mass of people, most of whom we've never met?
That's not. I think that's what we're trying to
No. I think the real thing is, what are the real issues that we can easily identify? What are the real things that we can measure? No.
Brutality.
No.
Wait, no.
Well, real quick, you see how different the dude's response, even though he was a little bit corny. I think everybody is nice in this country. But you see how different his response was to whatever her face's response was, how she was just complaining about racism and all white people are racist and this and that. And I don't care how if you're only a little bit racist, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. This society is evil and this and that. You see how different the dude's response was? How that does, basically he was just saying that all that shit she was talking about doesn't matter. What are the solutions? What are the things that we can actually focus on and change, as opposed to just complaining about racism? Because like he just said, the average person is a quote unquote good person. Well, in this society, that's not necessarily true. I think a better way of phrasing it is the average person, even the average Caucasian, Black person, Asian in general, they're just trying to live their lives, man. Like they don't have time to be caught up in these movements and I gotta stand for Black people, or I hate Black people. I gotta fight against them, or I gotta fight for them. The average person, man, they're just trying to pay their bills. If they're young, go through school, maybe get a girlfriend, pay their taxes, focus on their kids' education. Like the average person is too busy just living their lives to be super concerned about Black issues in America. The average Caucasian, more specifically, they're too busy about making sure their lives are functional to worry about the average Black person in America. And that's just functioning people in general. Even most functioning Black people, they're not super concerned about how white people feel about them and how to quote unquote end racism. Because when you understand that you're in a white society, there's no point in quote unquote ending racism, because first of all, racism quote unquote is just a part of the human condition. It's a part of the human spirit. Especially us men, we're like lions. We're very territorial. So we go and make sure that not only ourselves but our progeny, the people who come after us, are also successful. And that's the reason that quote unquote racism exists, is to make sure that your kids do better than you do. Like, for example, if you're, a lot of people say this society is like a race, and that's true, but it's not just a one-on-one race. It's more like a relay race. So you, as basically the forefather, the people who come after you, you got to make sure you have a head start amongst all the other races of people. So when you pass the baton, your descendant is going to still be in the lead. That's how that works. You can't be like, oh, I got to be at an equal playing field of everybody else, because you don't know what's going to happen when you pass that baton off. Maybe the kid you hand it off to is slow and he ends up getting left in the dust. So you know how you make sure you stay ahead? By staying ahead. That's just the reality of things. So in no society is a race of people, especially if they're the ruling race of people, going to make things easier for everybody else and be like, okay, we're just gonna put you on our level, because you can't guarantee what your descendants are gonna do. You can't guarantee that your son or your grandson or your great grandson ain't a fuck up, and all the shit that you've worked towards is crumbled. And that's any logical man's mind. You got to be worried about feeding your own as opposed to feeding other people. Now, we do understand in this society, they've made certain provisions that are cruel and unusual, but that's because they understand, at least the powers that be, not the average Caucasian, they understand who our people are according to scriptures. They understand that in order to maintain their rulership, they have to keep our people, specifically the men, at a low condition, because it's always the men who are going to enact certain changes. It's always the men who have a three-dimensional mind and have the scope and a breadth of thought in order to change things, essentially. And I just want to get one precept. is Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's one of the other reasons why it's always important to have that head start, have that lead, because once you're in front, you can train up your child how to stay ahead. You don't want to be at the bottom, because all you're going to do is train your child how to be at the bottom as well. And that's the problem with many so-called Black men in the society, and Black women as well. They complain about the system and complain how racist it is and how evil it is, and they project that type of negative energy on their child, as opposed to, like what you were saying earlier, teaching them how to beat the system, teaching them, how to understand the money system, teaching them how to open up their own business, teaching them how to not be reliant on a job by a Caucasian, or teaching them how to have fruitful relationships, things along those lines. Those are things that are much more important than white people are racist and white people are coming against us. Because newsflash for you, the average Caucasian in society doesn't have that a large of advantage compared to the average Negro, just in general. The issues that we have are internal. They're not external. They're, like when you were saying earlier, they have to do with the fact that there's no father in the home, the fact that the women are the main decision makers. So meaning what? When the woman is in charge of the household, the child is going to grow up in chaos. The child isn't going to be taught things until he's way older in life. So a lot of the things that us young Black men should be knowing at 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, when you're not figuring out till you're 27, 28, 30. That's why you're behind. It's not just because of quote unquote what the society is doing, because newsflash, Black kids, white kids, Asian kids, Chinese, we all go to the same school. We're all taught the same curriculum for the most part. We're all taught the same lies. Now, of course, we understand in this society, they go out of their way to make sure Black men are disenfranchised when it comes to the job market, the prison system, being a part of their families, and being able to the head of their household and ruling. But when you understand this, the job isn't to complain and be like, you white people done this and this and this, and you got to change it. The solution is, okay, I understand what's fucked up. Now I got a plan. Now I got to strategize so I can make my life better. So I can make the life of my kids better, my grandkids, great grandkids. And when every brother does that, just one brother does that, the next brother does that, the next brother after that, you know what happens? A generation from now, 2 generations from now, we'll have children, or at that point, there'll be adults who are functional enough to be able to come together and actually make a change. Because right now, we too dysfunctional as a race of people as a whole to be able to come together and make actual effective change, man. So all this talking and all this rioting and protesting, it's all for naught until we're properly trained. And honestly, it might take 2 generations for us to be mentally right to be able to make this changes. Of course, all I'm saying is hypotheticals, because based on the scriptural prophecy, everything's gonna get much, much worse before it gets better.
Way worse. Just the things that we saying in this video, like it'll be nice, but these are gonna happen in the kingdom. Like this is not nothing that's gonna happen on this side. This shit got to get destroyed. We too far in at this point in time. Majority of our people, men and women, their minds are so tainted and their minds are so deep in the direction of worshiping the enemy as God, where they're not going to have the mindset to be able to accept a society and accept forming and building a society that doesn't involve him. It's just not going to happen.
Exactly. And that's another aspect when you talk about forming a functional society. That's one of the main reasons why our people are at the bottom, because for the most part, our people, we be the loudest when it comes to talking about, I believe in Jesus. We can sing, we can clap, we can dance, but the actual laws, the actual notes written by our Heavenly Father, our guide to how we live in life, we ignore it. When you try to get a so-called Black person to explain them things about the scriptures, like the actual laws, they get mad at you. They'll be like, oh no, Jesus, the laws are done away with. Jesus, I don't have to worry about the laws. And you wonder why you got the bottom. I'm sure a lot of you brothers have read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the curses. Of course, that's a whole other discussion, but there's a reason why those curses existed. Not only are they spiritual curses from the Most High, but it was just a way of explaining, because you're not following the laws, literally these things are going to happen to you, because you're not going to have any order. You're not going to have any structure. When you don't have order and structure, all the other races and nations basically around you are going to be able to capitalize. And that's another reason why we're in the condition that we are right now.
And the thing about it is too, I want to touch on a point that you mentioned earlier about just adding on to that point of the woman being the head of the household. Because see, when you got, like you mentioned earlier, a man in his natural state is going to be want to be the top lion of his own pride. You know, being his, you know, got his own family, you know, got his own structure. Going, if you're a brother that don't really care for kids and whatnot, especially in the society, I completely understand and I get you 100% on that. But let's say we were in a functioning society, or we were, let's say we weren't in the last days, and you know, this society had prolonged, never-ending amount of days where we could actually formulate and build steps to, you know, take over having the power of this society like the white man do right now. Let's say that could actually happen, right? A man being in his right mindset is going to want, you know, to be the lion, you know, the top lion, the top of his own pride. And then you, of course, unlike the animal kingdom, us being actual humans, we actually have respect, dignity, and we're cordial with other brothers as well. We have love for our brothers as well. Where we communicate together, where we you know, build together and not always looking to take over another man's pride. We're not animalistic in that way. You know what I'm saying? Unlike an actual lion. But when you got that right there, then you can actually build a society and build the necessary, you know, internal infrastructure that can help a society flourish and whatnot, can help build you a society where you don't operate within the overall global scheme of things, and eventually can get to the point where you can topple that over time. That could actually happen, of course, hypothetically speaking. But the root of it does go back to the father being in the home. Because like I said, a man, his natural mindset is going to want to have his own thing going on. But the woman in her natural mindset, she going to look towards the man. See, that's the thing about these women, right? You know, especially a lot of these women on here, and majority, and honestly, you could just say majority women, because majority of the women, especially the black women, they mimic the words and the rhetoric of the woman on this panel right here. Let's just be real. But the woman per se, they are going to look towards the man for instruction and guidance in one way, shape, form, or another. See, they may not look to the black man for guidance, and majority of them don't. Quite frankly, there's one aspect of it because a lot of black men don't have guidance to give. That's true. All right, we got to be real about that. A lot of black men, haven't been taught, you know, true wisdom and true knowledge. And then even some brothers who have been taught that, they weren't raised with a father as well, so they're still dealing with internal trauma that plagues them to this day. So that's a whole nother story. But the woman, she's gonna be looking towards some type of guidance and structure over her life. It may not come from her counterpart being a black man. If not, it's gonna come from Esau. It's gonna come from the ways of the serpent. And they show that one way, form, or another. This whole Miss Independent type shit, that's not a reality. That's a facade. And you see that even if a woman is well off, how did she get to that well off position? She you know, basically indebted her life to following after this man's structure. She went to college. She may have got a higher level degree, and she is working in that man's system to either fund her lifestyle or pay off debt and fund her lifestyle. Even if she's well off, she still followed a certain man's structure and system to get to that position in which she's in. If she's not well off and she's dependent on certain government factions for food subsidiary and EBT and, you know, child support from the man and shit like that, what does that all come from? Well, child support from her baby daddy. What does that all come from? That comes from the white man's structure as well. So either way, the woman's gonna look for guidance. And I just used two different examples, but it's a plethora of others. Either way, the woman's gonna look for guidance from a man's structure. It's just in today's society, she's looking for guidance from a certain man's structure, the white man's structure, and his structure is antagonistic to the betterment of the black man. But see, what do? We gotta recognize that, and we gotta you know, do the very best we can to formulate our lives in a way where we don't become basically products and subject to that. How do we do that? By watching after our seed in terms of, you know, before it leaves your body, like I was saying earlier, not really. I'm just gonna be real, not fucking up your life by, you know, knocking up some bitch, man. Let's just be real, not fucking up your life that way. Because
Exactly.
I'm sorry, bro. When you a young nigga, you got shit going on. You got direction that you got a certain sense of direction that you're going. Even if you are part of this man system, which, like I said, ain't nothing wrong with that. You got to do what you got to do to get to where you need to get to. But so even if you do operate in the system, or you or you're some sort of entrepreneur type, whatever it is that you're in, you do fuck up your life when you put yourself in an 18-year contract to the woman. That's what you do when you impregnate her. And I know brothers got kids and all that. Oh man, I'm not in that. Well, all praises that you're not in that situation. But you can't say that for every single brother. In fact, most brothers are in some type of, even they're not outrightly on child support, they in some type of situation where they pretty much got their balls in the woman's hands. If they fuck up any last bit, she can go run to the white man's court system and string him up. That's what happens, man. So as brothers, we got to protect ourselves, but not getting ourselves involved in certain situations where the woman can use the system that's set up against you to topple you, man. We just got to take ownership and responsibility for our actions. We can't sit there and blame other people. Even though, I'm gonna be real, they do deserve some blame. Let's be honest with it. They do. The white man deserves his fair share of blame. The black woman deserves her fair share of blame. But you're not going to get nowhere by just doing that, man. You got to actually take responsibility for your actions. The judgment's going to come on them. Don't get it twisted. The Most High got something coming for them. The white man and the black woman who don't want to get in line. The Most High got judgment coming for them. But if you don't want to be caught up in that same judgment by way of getting yourself enraptured in their system at the behest of them by making bad decisions on your part, then you got to start making the right decisions. I just want to get this precept to round out what I'm saying. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. Meaning what? The woman hearkened unto the ways of the serpent, man. As you could read in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, the Most High's plan was for man was to be immortal. But through jealousy of the serpent, or no, the correct word is just envy of the devil or something like that. Just roughly paraphrasing that Wisdom of Solomon too. The envy of the serpent came death into the world, man. Which is basically, the Eve hearkened unto the ideologies and the practices of the serpent, man. And Eve does that in today's society as well. When you try to bring the proper understanding, proper wisdom, proper guidance, she rejects that for the white man's perception of things, man. Even if it's to her downfall, he gives it to her as if it's the best thing cooking for her, man. And she's gonna hearken to that because the same thing as the serpent did, give her this is really the best situation for you. That way you operating in right now, man, you could be better than that. You don't have to submit yourself to that. You can advance higher than the limit that they're trying to put on you. That's what the white man does right now with these certain programs and reforms and propaganda against the black man, and she hearkens onto that, man. So when you got a community, a so-called community, where that is the head of your household, then that's going to set the direction for the children, their children's children, and their children's children as well, all going into the direction of the serpent because the head is going in that direction as well, and the curse is never going to be broken.
Con, JT, Ghetto, you got anything to say? Or if not, we just gonna keep pushing.
Yeah, y'all cooked so long, y'all I almost forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, I'm surprised that y'all got stuck in the book of Proverbs and y'all didn't take y'all didn't take the most important precept.
I knew you wanted that. I knew you wanted that one, bro. I knew go ahead and get it, man. Go ahead and get it, bro.
Because you didn't come into the call. You didn't come into the call before we before we started, and I was like, I claim dibs. So shout out to Apex last week, by the way, because he did half of it and he's playing the spiritual way, but I'm gonna explain it in the low level way. Because this is all I gotta say. I'm just gonna repeat this over and over again in the video because I've already seen the video I think twice now. So this is more so for y'all than me. But Proverbs 9, starting at verse 13, a foolish woman. Exactly, bro. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows nothing, for she sits at the door of her house on a seat by the highest places of the city, to call those who pass by, who go straight in their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of hell. Now, of course, that last part is not talking about some fiery underworld. For, of course, not the brothers in chat. Y'all understand this. I'm talking about them idiots out there outside the chat that don't understand that. No, I'm talking about hell on earth. As we know, what's the old saying? Hell have no fury like a woman scorned. You know what I'm saying? She's definitely scorned in this video, but and already, as you guys can see, like Chronicles say, the liberal woman, at least the liberal so-called black woman, is a triple agent. She already brought out one of her agencies out the racialist altar. She already did it. Oh, you don't shut up, you white bitch. You don't love the Migos. You don't love the black man. You be shivering every time a nigga walks by you. Don't lie. You know, just dumb shit. But she gonna get into them other ones. She'll get into them real quick.
We ain't heard nothing yet.
We really haven't. But that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna keep repeating that over and over again. I don't know if we're gonna get to a lot of the other so-called black men in at the round table, because they're literally going to do Proverbs 9:15 through 17. Like, they're literally gonna do it. But that's really all I gotta say, because was understood the news. I don't need to go into it. They've already D-Ben and Malak have already explained, and are going probably now to continue to explain why she is horribly, horribly wrong. But that's it. That's all I gotta say. So hey.
All right, let's keep that shit pushing, man.
I think is, like I said, before Charlottesville, I knew racism was real, white supremacy was real.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this video is several years old. It was back when there was the whole Charlottesville riot shit. So like, these bitches right here, I'm sure when all that shit happened in 2020, they probably lost their minds. But let's keep pushing.
No, but I think for me, after seeing the type of people who are at Charlottesville and the response, I now believe that we have, like, I think there's a bigger issue. I think there's a bigger issue.
Serena, right?
Sorry, yeah.
Right, cool. So, you said earlier that all white people are conditioned to be racist.
Yes.
Facts, cool, got it. Are you conditioned then to be victim?
To be a victim of what people?
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Oh no, he didn't. Oh no, he didn't, girl. You better get him, girl.
Oh shit, man.
Let's clarify your question.
Right. So no, I mean, if I'm conditioned by nature of our country.
Against me as a black person, yes. They're conspiring against me double as a woman as well. Yes.
Say what? Wait, hold on. What's the old colloquial? You get him, girl.
Let's keep pushing.
Completely, 100%.
So if you don't want to be surrounded and trapped in victimhood, right? I don't see you, and I didn't see you from when I met you 3 hours ago as any kind of victim. I mean, I know that our country does not support Black lives at all, ever, and it does condition people that look like me to be racist from the jump. Like, from as soon as I'm out the womb, boom, he's on the track to be a racist. But you have to you as yourself, you need to make certain actions, right, that bring you out of victimhood. Like, you need to be
That's what we're doing. We're organizing.
Right.
Wait, let him finish it. Wait, no, Eden, let him finish his thought.
So that's an action. And so I think that also, if you can come out of this predetermined victimhood that our country has laid out for people, right, that are not white, right, I think that people that look like me need to make specific actions and commit themselves to those actions every day of their lives so that they can go against how they're conditioned.
Okay, are you done? Okay,
Wait, let's
I think it must be, number one, I think it must be really nice to be a white person and believe in the idea that being an individual magically makes you able to overcome the conditioning of your society, because that's not the way the conditioning works. That's not the way that socialization works. That's not the way that our society works, period. So there is no one in any type of marginalized group in this country that can pull themselves up by their bootstraps and magically remove themselves from our society's ills. Yes, do certain types of people have the opportunities that other people don't have? Of course, the Obamas, perfect example of that. However,
I just have to stop her right there while she was going on her little spiel, but just the way she was explaining it right there just shows a lot of the issues that so-called Black people have. Like, for example, when she talked about, people, getting out of the condition that they are, all she could think of is the Obamas. Like, there aren't regular so-called Black people who are, middle class, doing well for themselves. It's always
like the people at that video, like the people in that video.
Exactly. It's always a politician, an athlete, some type of well-known figure is the exception. There's not, basically in her mind, there's not so-called Black men who exist making $200K a year, $150K a year, who are married and in good relationships and are basically aren't dealing with the issues that the average Negro deals with. And they are, because everybody knows in this society, money talks. If you have money, you're going to be able to escape whatever situation you're in. People say, this society is a racist. For the most part, they don't like Black men, but that's true. But I'll even use an example. I believe this is an example like, I forget the specific year, but this was back when Muhammad Ali was very famous. And of course, he used to have a lot of so-called Caucasians or people of the other races laughing it up, smiling, dapping it up with him. But he always had to remind himself, I'm still a nigger. Now, he wasn't trying to be negative, but all he was saying is like, look, the only reason y'all are interacting with me is because I'm rich and I'm famous and I have money. And he's an extreme example, but just the average Negro, money talks. So people of the other races, especially white people, they're going to treat you better if you're successful. That's just how it is. If you're successful, you're going to be treated better. Like if you're, for example, a so-called Black man who works in corporate America and does his job very well, you're going to be respected more than just an average nigga who's gangbanging. That's just the reality of things. So I know she's complaining about, quote unquote, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. And of course, that is a cliche when the other races try to use that against us to try to like marginalize our problems. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't enact that in your life and try to pull yourself out of the condition that you're in. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that you can change in life is yourself. The only thing you can control is you. And if you control yourself, meaning what? The decisions you make, the people you hang out with, what you allow, what your beliefs are, what thoughts you allow to permeate in your mind, that's going to just shape your reality. Because the thing is with people, we're not only physical and mental, we're also spiritual. And our spirit is affected by those things that I listed earlier. So when we control our environment and the things that are around us and we make it into a positive environment and we have a positive spirit, we'll be able to open doors in our lives. This is the problem with a lot of so-called Black people in the society. We don't think big. We have a very small mindset. You see her again, she's just complaining about, a marginalized group of people, they can't just pull themselves up by a bootstrap. But she doesn't understand. He's not talking about Black people as a whole. He's talking about you as an individual. He ain't talking about the race as a whole. He's talking about you as an individual. Basically, if me as a so-called white man, as an individual, if I need to be deprogrammed from the white supremacy and I need to change myself, well, then you as a quote unquote Black individual, since you've also been programmed by the society as well, wouldn't you have to change the way you interact? Of course, he's not the one. He's not the source who should be saying it. It should really be the Black men in the podium who should be telling her that's what she needs to do. So it's a damn shame, but none of these brothers are basically informing her. But I mean, most Black men, they just scared because a chick like her, she just screams too much. So the average,
exactly.
Hey, but like Ghetto, honestly, she's the perfect example. What you always be saying, 3 perfect qualities a Black woman can have. They gotta shut up.
Oh man! Don't do it! Don't do it yet, man. We all gonna do it together at the end, bro. We all gonna do it together at the end. We gotta wait. You know what I mean?
Like with a chick like her, if she would just be quiet and listen to what that Caucasian man is saying, she would get a better understanding of what he's really trying to come across, as opposed to just screaming and arguing and complaining, man.
Yo, and you paused it at the perfect moment too. Look at her expression while you saying that, bro. She she got that expression on her face where she just looked like that she can't shut the fuck up. I'm saying, man, she just looked like she just ready to just anytime a nigga say anything that she deems you know not worthy to fit her high intelligence standard with and the pedestal she holds herself to, because you could tell this woman is extremely prideful and she holds herself to a much higher pedestal than she deserves to be on. So anytime you say something that doesn't fit her standard per se, or what she deems to be intellectually um or racially intelligent per se, or sensitive to the plight of the black woman or per se, she's ready to pounce on you like a damn lion that sees someone messing with his pride, man. Real talk. She ready to just pounce on you, nigga, like she ain't seen food in 5 days. She's ready to devour you. She got that look on her face right now. But I want to get this preset right here because it's a point that you mentioned and that they was talking about earlier as well, going into the white man, right? And how the white man said in the video how when you come out the womb, you wired, you raised to be racist, and you raised to view yourself basically on a higher level as opposed to other nations of people or other races of people per se. And honestly, this may sound controversial, but I don't really see nothing wrong with that, man. I don't see nothing wrong with that at all, man. If you got some kind of pride and respect for your people, that's how you should view things, man. If we view ourselves that way, then we would treat each other much better, man. We would treat each other so much better intercommunally, within our own nation of people. We would treat each other with so much more respect. We would stop doing ill shit towards each other. When I say ill, I don't mean fire. I mean ill as in bad shit towards each other. We would stop, we would stop selling drugs to our own people. We would stop, the women would stop talking shit and making the man's life even way harder than it has to be. Children would actually reverence their parents. Brothers wouldn't always be trying to antagonize another brother, or brothers wouldn't start to prefer others over their own or whatnot. Brothers wouldn't be, their goal wouldn't be set towards trying to enact the worst kind of vengeance on a brother they possibly can. Any wrong little thing they deem, brothers would be more focused on trying to talk shit out instead of, I'm a hit a lick and shit like that. Little, all kinds of shit like that, man. If we actually viewed ourselves as this white man states that white people are trained and raised to believe themselves, then we would treat each other so much better, and we would have less problems because of how much more respect we show towards each other. A lot of the issues and really that plagues, it goes back to the curses, man. Of brothers, a man shall have an evil eye towards his brother. That comes to mind. That's one of the main curses that comes to mind when you talk about just general respect for our own people, man. If we actually viewed ourselves in that light, in that prestigious light. Matter of fact, let me go to the book of Lamentations, the 4th chapter, real quick.
Just real quick, just to expand on the point that you mentioned that you don't take offense to him having that mindset. I don't either, because I think the same about myself, and I'm sure you do, Swin, as well, and I'm sure all of us brothers are. But
you did.
Two things about life that people forget: one, life is a competition, and two, life is a team game. Now, the team aspect, that's interracially. The competition aspect, that's extra racially, meaning what? You shouldn't be offended if another race of people thinks that they're quote unquote better than you. It's like when you when you were in high school and you in middle school and you played basketball, you think the other team who was playing, you thought that y'all were better than them? No. They'd be like, this nigga can't dribble. He can't shoot. He can't play with me.
And if you thought that, you already lost.
Hey, let's take it to the grown man perspective. If you take your ugly ass up to LA Fitness and you get on the court, you really think niggas on that court to tie? Hell no. Exactly. Niggas on the court to win.
Because you know why niggas on the court to win, bro? Because winning keep you on that court, nigga. That's why.
Exactly.
Winning
ain't no ties
on that court. Ain't no ties. Ain't no ties and losing. You don't even think about that, because winning keep you on that court. It's the same thing in this life, man. Exactly. Winning keep you in the game, man. Winning and being at the top keeps you at the top. Y'all ever heard the phrase? I'm sure y'all have. I'm just speaking in general. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. It's the same thing in life, man. You
Yep.
stay ready, meaning you stay prepared. You stay setting your preparations towards the aspect of you winning. That way you don't gotta never get on the bottom and try to build yourself up and this and the third, because you're always on top, man. And we're gonna be that way in
Hey,
the kingdom, of course, but it ain't happening right now.
And you know,
hey, in the
always
in the
important to
go ahead,
have, like,
go ahead.
a certain, yeah, I was about to say it's always important to have a certain type of advantage over people as well. I'll use an example: Tom Brady and the Patriots with the
Exactly.
Flakegate and Spygate. We know them niggas were cheating, and if we're gonna analogize to the Caucasian man, the Caucasian man, quote unquote, cheats as well. But what you gonna do about it? You still gotta win.
How you gonna stop it?
Mhm.
How you gonna? It's like when NFL players, when Cam Newton, when he was, when he was in his prime and whatnot, he was making overt celebrations in the end zone with the Superman and all that, and niggas was getting mad at him for doing that. He's like, man, if you don't like me doing that, then stop me from getting in the end zone, man. That's what you do. That's how you stop it. You stop him from winning. You stop him while he in this.
Thank
race, man.
you.
You don't complain and you don't get in your feelings. You don't, woe is me, or we should have a program to stop him from ruling so much. Nah,
Thank
man. You stop him from ruling. That's how you
Thank
do
you.
shit.
That's my whole take on this. From what I'm hearing so far is like, white people are racist. Okay, cool. Now what?
Facts. Hey, there's two types of people when it comes to the court. There's two types of people on the court. There are those who are on the court, and there are those who's not on the court. Which one are you, bro? Like football field, there's two types of people on the field. There's those who's on the field, and there are those who are not on the field. It is what it is. And well, actually, I'm gonna wait till right before we play the video again.
I'm just going to add something to what you say. For the people who aren't on the field or on the court, there's two type of people: the ones who complaining about not being on the court, and the one who's ready to get his chance back on the court.
Facts.
Exactly.
Facts.
He didn't want to get off the court again.
Exactly.
This is a game of chess, not checkers.
And I wanted to get this precept right here. This is the book of Lamentations, the 4th chapter, and the 1st verse. How has the gold become dim? How has the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion. I'll read that again. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers? The work of the hands of the potter. So we fell from grace, man. Let's just be real. We fell from grace, but we are those precious sons of Zion. We are comparable to fine gold. If every brother woke up tomorrow with that mindset, we'd be in a better position overnight, over fucking night, because we would treat each other just like this. When a rapper got jewels, right? When a rapper, you ever seen a rapper cleaning his jewelry in the stove, like he cooking some shit, but he just cleaning his jewelry, he doing that like on a stove top and whatnot. You shining up you refining your jewelry and whatnot. He takes care of that gold, right? You see a rapper, he don't never want no one to take his Rolex or to take his $40,000 chain, or his $20,000 tennis chain or whatnot. He don't never want no one to take that, man. He's very protective over that. He treats that with a lot of respect. He treat that gold with a lot of respect. If you have some gold on right now, man, so you got gold in your ear, you got gold in your teeth or whatnot, you take care of that because you value it, man. You take care of what you value. If we viewed ourselves as fine gold, as the scripture describes us, man, we would actually value each other, meaning we would treat each other with much more respect, with much more care, and with much more honor and integrity, man. And that would change our position overnight. Overnight, we will stop doing shit that we do right now every single day in terms of at large in our communities to bring each other to assist. I'll say this, to assist the white man and bring us down, because the white man does play his part too. I ain't saying he don't, man. He do. The white man definitely, he gonna get his judgment for it too, man. Don't get it twisted. We're not sitting here saying that the white man has no blame, like that one dude tried to say. See, even with dudes like that, the black conservatives, they're delusional as well, just on a whole different realm. They come with a little bit more logic and understanding. They're a little bit less emotional, but they still live in strong delusion as well. They still worship the white man as well, just in a different way. We're coming in from a balanced perspective. The white man is the devil. He is the devil. He is the deceiver. He is at the top of assisting our people in being at the bottom, especially our men. But how do we assist the white man in doing that every single day? It's by our action that we continually do, man. So we treat each other like this fine gold, that would change overnight.
And when you bring up the Caucasian man, you just got to understand he's doing his job. He's doing what he's supposed
Exactly.
to do. He's doing what
Exactly.
he was created to do. So you're not even really
Exactly.
supposed to get
Exactly.
mad at him like that. It's just like, oh, okay, that's what he's here to do. So whatever. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what it is
Exactly.
though, and I just thought about it like right now. The way quote unquote conservative so-called blacks and liberal so-called blacks, they treat the so-called Caucasian man like that girl the girl that two niggas want in the class. One nigga takes the approach of of kind of dissing her or kind of antagonizing her all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's his way of I guess showing her that he's paying attention to her because he likes her, right? And then the other guy, he what's the word for it? He just nice to her. He shows that he likes her by yes giving her attention too, but he does it in a more so a positive way. He'll say, "Hey, your hair looks nice," or "Hey, that was I like what you're wearing today." Blah 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 blah. Just like the conservatives and the liberals, so-called
That's
blacks.
true.
The conservative so-called black, he
That's
tells
true.
Caucasian man, "Oh, I think you're great, and I just think we're all here, and
No, y'all all good people. White people, they're all good
yeah,
people.
I don't think you're. I mean, yeah, you're
I don't see
grandpappy.
race.
I don't see color. I'm
I don't see
colorblind.
color.
I'm not black, I'm OJ.
I know. What? Even though your great grandpa might have did some shit, 150 years ago. Even though it wasn't that many, nor near as much as they try to make it out to be. Even though they understand that, but it has nothing to do with us today. Blah 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 blah. And then the liberals, they say, "Oh, we love you too, but we gotta show you by saying that you're fucking terrible, you're fucking horrible, and you're always whipping on us, and you're always shooting us, even though the statistics say that we kill more of y'all than do than the other way around, but whatever. But
Sound
you
like
guys are always killing us.
white
You
person
guys
right
are
now.
always oppressing us. It's ridiculous. We're sick of this. And please help us. Please, white man. Please, 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 please. You can't help us. Fuck you then. But then next week, please help us. Please, 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 please. It's just dumb shit. Same old cycle.
It
Facts, bro.
really is. They want to act like they're strong, but they're really begging. They're like, please, please, go massa,
Mm-hmm.
go massa. Give me some crumbs. Fuck you, massa.
And to be to
Liberals
be
are.
real, I think a big reason too is bro, like black folks are just really ignorant. They're so ignorant about their history because
Yeah.
I'm sure just like a lot of you brothers, when you found out certain things, especially about medieval Europe and just Israel, just us being Israel to begin with, you weren't worried about no white folks after that. Like you could care
Exactly.
less because now you know who you are and you know where you came from. So now you know where you can go. You know where you can't end up because you've been there before. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
these
Exactly.
guys they're just too caught up on the slave narrative, and a lot of times when you do tell them, it gets exposed that they really just love these people because they don't want to hear it and they just ignore it.
And it's funny that you really said he's
Gone.
exposed them because they're talking about white supremacy. The average liberal liberal black person is a white supremacist. Because, like you said, JT,
Mm-hmm.
when you try to
Mm-hmm.
bring out the
Gone.
facts about our history and you show them evidence, they'll be like, where are you getting this from?
Mm-hmm.
Are you into conspiracy? It's like the concept of them being in rulership is so against their programming that they have to believe that it's a lie. So, really, you're a white supremacist because in your mind, you've convinced yourself that the white man has been supreme throughout all history, and any evidence to the contrary is false information.
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why the truth is the great equalizer as well, because this truth gives you the proper understanding, like Hitman said, of where we were, how we fell, and where we're going in the future if we're of the elect. Like the truth is the equalizer between all that. When you understand this truth, you don't get caught up in these little emotional discussions and diatribes, arguing liberal black women all day who are never going to see your perspective, arguing a conservative black man who is so wrapped up in his love for the white man in a different way, he's not going to see your perspective, or any other faction in between. You have a true understanding of, it's just given, wisdom that helps, remove yourself from that globalist perspective and narrative and program and conditioning that you were grown and raised up in. And I want to get this precept. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 13 and verse 15. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. So when you understand, see, that's the beauty about these scriptures, man. They touch, they cover every single thing in life, man. They cover everything. You know, it's nothing that the scriptures don't touch on, man. Every single aspect of life. Of course, I'm not saying every single little individual nuance of life. There's a scripture exactly for that point. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying all the general topics of life that we deal with, the scriptures cover, and the scriptures give you instruction of how you should perceive said things and what perspective would you should view certain societal issues from. And from the wisdom of this scripture right here, we understand and we know that there's nothing wrong with a white man wanting to deal with other white men. Ain't nothing wrong with an Asian man not wanting niggas to come in his story. Ain't nothing wrong with a black man. Ain't nothing wrong with a black man just only wanting to be around his people and not really caring for the other nations like that. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Every man, consort of his own like. You know, because people like to be comfortable, man. A lot of people don't like to embrace uncomfortable moments. You know, when you're around people who you have similar experiences with, you can talk about similar things with. You can have similar conversation where you got similar interests. That creates a more comfortable environment for you. So of course you're gonna want to be around that person more. Of course you're gonna want to work around that person. You're gonna want to know. You're gonna want that person to have more information about you. If you're a boss, you're gonna want to hire that person. I'm sure some of y'all brothers have heard about the Brian Flores shit in the NFL, which that's a whole nother thing as well in terms of ritualistic aspect. But just on surface value, this brother's complaining that white NFL owners don't want to hire black coaches. No shit. These are white billionaires who have 70 plus years old. Why the fuck would they want to hire your ass, man? Come on, think about it, man. Let's just be real, man. Why would they want to hire if they got two people with the same qualifications? They got a white man and a black man with the same qualifications, and there are a white man. Why would they not want to hire another white man? That doesn't make no damn sense, man. I would hope that if you were in that position, you would do the same thing for the black man. I would hope that you would do that. You know,
we all know that's not true.
It's opposite. So they're like, white man, if I was in your position, I'll give you a job over my people. So I want you to do the same for me.
And just one last thing too for me. It's like I watched that recent KMZ video, and near the end, I think Kenton should record that and clip that, where he was saying they weren't the dukes, they weren't the princes, they weren't the kings, and it's like once you understand that, it's like, bro, like we were Spartans, we were Vikings, like, and once you see it and it makes sense, it's like, bro, I don't care about these people, like who cares, bro, like. Why are we always talking about them? I don't care about them, bro.
Well, since that's the case, first off, before I get to my point, shout out to KMZ. I speak for all of us on the chat. Shout out to KMZ. He's been putting his work when it comes to bringing up history for at least, from what I know, over a year now. So shout out to him. He puts in his work. So shout out to KMZ first off. My second point because we gotta get back to this video. I thought I was gonna bring up another precept, but hey, that's the spirit, man. Since you went to Sirach, I'm gonna go to Sirach chapter 11, verse 10. My son, hold up, my son, not my daughter, not my children. No, my son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeting. So, what are we seeing? Like you guys have already pointed out, our people get caught up in so many different doctrines, so many different problems facing quote unquote other races of people. It's just a bunch of globalists trying to get along with everybody bullshit, and it's not going to get us anywhere. But hey, when you got the spirit of a woman, I mean, that's what's gonna happen to you. So I mean, hey, Gotta go back. Like I said, I love repeating precepts. Proverbs 9 verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows what? Nothing. Come on, y'all. Say it with me. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows what? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's that simple, guys. She knows nothing. So you have the spirit of, if you have the spirit of a woman, that automatically makes you foolish and you know nothing, just like this stupid bitch with the whole look on her face right now. But let's get back to the video. Let's get back to the video.
But I'll save it. I'll let him go a little bit because we got a little bit more to cover. Actually, a lot more.
Those are exceptions to the rule. And it is ridiculous. I'm not finished. I know you're white and a man, so you can talk, but you can okay? That is the exception. That is not the rule. And it is absurd. It's ridiculous to look at the people that do get out of marginalized groups and use them as some type of benchmark that you can hold all the rest of us to. If you look at the statistics of what's going on with Black Americans in this country, it's absurd. It's a fucking offensive that you would even fix your mouth to say that to me, to be quite honest.
I was just going to make a real quick comment. You notice how she said, every time we stop, it's just perfect. But you notice how she said, she mentioned statistics, but she didn't bring a single statistic out. She just said it's are offensive because guys don't know the statistics. She just knows what's on TV. I bet you money on that.
Black Twitter, man. All she knows what's on CNN, Black Twitter, and fucking all the
what her homegirl told her yesterday.
What's that outlet Clubhouse.
But let's keep pushing.
Oh my God. Hold on. Pause it real quick. Hey man, I'm gonna do this every time. Before we play the video. Proverbs 9:13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows what? Nothing. She wanted to say statistics and had no statistics to show for it because she is simple and knows nothing.
And also too, I don't know about y'all too, bro, but I hate that hand shit. I fucking hate that shit, nigga. When a bitch put her hand in my face like that she just did. Nigga, I hate that shit with a passion, nigga.
You getting ready to get slapped.
Man, I'll be ready to knock a bitch out with that shit, nigga.
Misogyny alert.
And you saw the spirit came out. She said, as a white man, and you fix your lips. Hey, but let's let her keep going. Because she gonna dig her own grave, man.
As a fucking white person that has literally been given everything as both white and a man, to even look at me and fix your lips to talk about fucking victimhood is ridiculous. Matter of fact, you don't even have permission to talk to me anymore.
Hold on. Wait, can I ask a question? I want to ask when you said victimhood, what did you mean?
I'm saying that our country, right, can predetermine me to be a racist, right? Then I think, so racism is a power structure. Part of it is a power structure, right? So then
all of it is. Like it's power structure.
Right, but it's a race-related power. Like, so I'm saying all of that, right? But I'm talking about
I want all inclusive.
Power structure, right? So there needs to be, I guess, somebody like, if I'm conditioned to be on top, right? Then there's going to be people that are conditioned lower than that. Like there's a stratification. Right? So then we're all conditioned to be on different levels, right? So I mean, I think that happens in many different cultures.
That doesn't make you being lower does not automatically make you a victim. That was the problem with what you said. Now, obviously, I'm not a woman. They don't. Hold on.
And just real quick, they don't really understand why he said the thing that he said. Because for y'all brothers who remember in the beginning of the video, the Caucasian man mentioned before I came in this room, I didn't view you as a victim. So basically he's saying the way you're complaining and whining, now I view you as a victim. So that's why a lot of so-called Black people, they don't understand what they say and how that impacts how people view them. Because he even said himself before he came in the room, he didn't think that woman was a quote unquote victim, but the way she was complaining and gesticulating and honestly so emotional in his mind, he immediately thought this woman thinks she's a victim. Now they're trying to say, now of course, because they heard the word victim, they've gotten really offended now, and they want to kind of say, no, we don't view yourselves as victims. But sometimes your words speak more. What you say sometimes matters more than what you try to say after the fact. You can say, I'm not a thief, I'm not a robber, but motherfucker, if I saw you lick up a gas station, what do you expect me to do? If I hear you say, you know what, 2 days ago, I stole $5. Well, then guess what? That you're a thief. So these brothers can say, they can be offended at the fact that he's using the word victim, but the way, especially the woman from before, was describing how she felt and complaining, anybody in their right mind will be like, okay, she must think she's a victim. Especially when you understand the culture is promoting victimhood right now.
And disclaimer, that was one of the themes of the rest of the video. Everybody kept saying, you used the word victim. That's why we're so offended. Like, they were so offended that, like, literally the word victim itself literally turned into a whole nother conversation within itself. But I wanted to bring out, because you actually could have paused it a little bit earlier than that, because remember when I said that a so-called little black woman was a triple agent?
Yeah,
she brought out her other two agencies right there. Remember, she was like, race, gender, class, like we're all being oppressed in different ways. And then when she was going off on the dude, she was like, you as white and as a man, you are not allowed to speak to me as a woman ever. Like you're completely disqualified from having this conversation with me. And it's just like, see, we already knew it was getting to feminism at some point. And then obviously, he's one of the main idiots that's been part of this group for many years. But I gotta get it again, because I gotta get the precept again, because it's just now we're starting to get to the point why this video is actually important to look at. I'm gonna get Proverbs 9:13 again. A foolish woman is clamorous; she is simple and knows nothing. Now I'm gonna get verse 15. To call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way, whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. What did this guy do? Not only is she being a dumbass, obviously, he's now being a jackass by defending her dumbass statements, because he's trying to say, oh, because you said victim, that's why this conversation is going left. And it's like, who gives a shit? It's just a word, dude. And at the end of the day, like you said, D-Ben, if you're going to sit up there and be trying to point out oppression quick as shit all day, every day, well, it only makes sense for anybody in the room who has a brain larger than, I don't know, one Fruit Loop, a fucking Fruit Loop, to say, well, wouldn't you be a victim at that point? Because you sure as hell do sound like one. But because the thing is, what do you replace the word victim with? That sounds right to you. I don't know, oppressed?
That's actually what they do in this video. Do you remember they said?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm just saying in general, when you hear these conversations, like, what do you replace these words with that's going to not offend you if you're even paying attention to the context here? Because if you're paying attention to the context, I'm basically saying the same thing, but it is what it is. She's a dumbass, and he's being a jackass right now.
Exactly. Let's push a little bit further ahead though. Let's see what I don't even know what to call this nigga. Simp one.
His name is Mouse.
They're gonna go for you on how they gonna go for you, right? But at the end of the day, for you to look across and say, okay, so you just defended your whiteness, right? Because she said something, and that I'm guessing you got the African piece on you, some type of woke. So for you she said something that peaked in you, that woke up that white man and said, hey, I know you listen to that kindergarten, but you still a white man. You better defend yourself, defend you, right? So you didn't say, you said, okay, because there is white supremacy. That's what she called out. She said white supremacy is there. We're not going to argue that. You said, all right, we can't argue that. But I have to respond, and your response was then to call her a victim. Just because you're at a lower tier.
Wait, that's why I was trying to ask you to clarify before everybody interrupted. So just quickly clarify what.
And by the way, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the third time he has to clarify this. They're just going to say the same thing he said the first time. So it just shows you they're not listening.
You're trying to say.
Right. So I apologize for any words that I might have missed. I feel if I hurt people, then I want to apologize. No, it's cool. It's cool. No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't put it out there. That's not my intention. So
You weren't the violator one.
So okay. So what I was talking then is the stratification. So if I am on top, if I'm conditioned to be on top, right, and there are other people to be conditioned on lower than that, right? And so if I'm operating then on top, if I'm preconditioned to be a racist, right, then I'm taking, and then my point was that I need to make direct action to go against how I'm preconditioned, right? And so other people also have to make direct action to get out of whatever stratification levels they are at.
I'm not speaking to you, but it's not victimhood. What we're talking about is in white people, the conditioning society conditions them to be racist, white supremacists. In black people, as well as other people of color, it conditions us to be colorist. It conditions us to be internalized anti-blackness with non-black persons of color. It's anti-blackness in them. It's not fucking victimhood. Are you ridiculous?
God damn.
What are you talking about?
What the fuck did she just say?
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, let's bring this out. I'm done here. Because I just lost brain cells. What the hell did she even say?
All these damn titles, man. What the
What the fuck does colorism have to do with racism here? You're talking to a white guy.
Black folks and colorism and hey, bring the precept out again, and then we're gonna listen to her one more time.
She said, yeah. Oh my God. You know what? Let's hear that again, and then we'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What we're talking about is in white people, the conditioning society conditions them to be racist, white supremacists. In black people, as well as other people of color, it conditions us to be colorist. It conditions us to be internalized anti-blackness with non-black persons of color. It's anti-blackness in them. It's not fucking victimhood.
So wait, hold on. Let's piece it together. She said she says colorism, and then it's anti-blackness.
What she basically said is like in this society, white people are conditioned to be white supremacists, but for black people, we're conditioned to be colorist and to I lost her after that, bro.
So pretty much we're conditioned to be victims without her saying the word victims. I got you.
Yeah, pretty much.
What she just said. Basically, I was just trying to repeat exactly what she said, but it was so incoherent. Like,
so she's basically saying we are our own enemy, but it's because of the white guy. She did do a way better job explaining.
This is a prime example of why women should not be in positions of discussion towards leadership or towards solution-oriented things, because they get so triggered by certain words, because certain words have a connotation with them and whatnot. So they get so triggered by that they can't see the bigger picture of what someone's talking about. See, that's the thing. She's so triggered by the word victim that she don't even realize what she describing is a victim. But she's so triggered by that word victim that has a certain connotation that don't resonate well with her. So she just describing something, in a roundabout way. It's the same thing what the white man said.
That's the point. And this is something that we've noticed over the years. Women easily contradict themselves. They contradict themselves so easily they don't even realize it. Like they'll just keep talking, and you'll pick up on it. You don't even have to be like focus on the scripture or anything like that. Like you could just be a guy with some type of three-dimensional thought, and you'll easily pick up on this bitch just contradicted herself big time. Like you just pick up on it, boom. Just like that. She just contradicted herself within her own statement. And she just talking. Randy brought it up. She contradicted herself when she put her hand up talking about I'm not speaking to you, blah blah blah. But meanwhile,
You're
she
speaking to
was
him.
she was addressing his own point. Like she was addressing literally the point that he's the only one that made. So she still is talking to him, but that's another thing. And then like I'm still trying to figure out like colorism, anti-blackness. What the fuck? Like please stop.
Basically, JT just summarized all that shit because I didn't even want to repeat what she said because basically she said, white people are taught white supremacists and black people are taught colorism and anti-black. She just started throwing terms like
No, but what she meant when she said
I know what
internalized.
she meant. It's just funny the way she said it because she was just throwing out what term she wanted to bring out. But basically,
Exactly.
she was saying that white people blaming white people for the programming that black people are in. But like what she isn't understanding is because she's not solution oriented. Basically she was proving the white dude's point because he was just saying that okay, if I'm conditioned to be a white supremacist and I gotta change, well then if you're programmed to be a quote unquote victim, don't you gotta change. That's all he was saying. But basically she was offended by the word victim, but what she's really saying is no, I don't have to change, you gotta change. I don't have to do anything, you gotta do everything because you're a white man and a man and blah 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 blah. Basically, this is the thing with women. They have no accountability, no responsibility. It's not what I can do, it's what you as a man need to do for me.
And they don't want to fit, they don't want to maneuver their way, and they don't want to move themselves to fit in a paradigm that they claim that they want to align with, right? They claim that they want a functioning society where black people and white people are equal and a man and a woman are equal, right? That's what they claim they want. Even though that can never happen, that's what they claim that they want, right? So they don't think that they should move themselves or formulate themselves in any kind of, or shift themselves, better word, to shift themselves in any direction. We should just meet them as they are type shit. They got the mindset that everybody should just meet them where they are. They're perfect. They don't need to change. Everybody should meet them where they are because they're the only ones that's coming with true sense and logic. And they justify that by how loudly they speak about things. It's not about what they say. It's about how loudly they can pronounce something. Like what she just said is a bunch of nothing. See, that's the man that's going to come with simple, to the point solutions as to how we can solve a problem and get to the next solution. A solution after solution after solution. Now, of course, us men, we have emotions too. We get triggered by things as well, but we're more solution oriented than they are. So they're gonna focus and harp on the emotions more than anything. We're gonna get emotional, of course, but we're gonna still keep the solution as the on the forefront of our mind. As to, okay, after all this, let's get back to it. Like what is it that we got to do? All the other bullshit. Okay, cool. You talk about it. You get in your feeling. Okay, whatever. Boom. Get out of the way. What's the solution? Let's get back to the problem and then get back to the root of how to solve something. The woman, they just gonna harp on the emotional shit all day, which is why all she did was just in a roundabout way with a lot of different words say the same shit the white man was saying. That's all she did. But because she's so emotionally driven, and since she feels like saying things loudly makes her point more valid, she's gonna say a lot of things. She's gonna have a variety of different words she can bring to the table and speak on it real loudly. She thinks that makes her sound smarter. She thinks that make her sound like she actually knows what she's talking about. And when she was talking about the whole internalized anti-black shit, all she's saying with that shit is black men don't like dark skinned women. That's all she's saying.
yeah. Facts, bro. That's why she said colorism. Like there was no need to bring up colorism right now. That's such an empty topic within itself. But hey, man, let's get it, man. Before we get back to this goddamn video. Come on, guys. JT, get your ass off mute. We need a whole group contribution on this one. Brothers in the chat, wherever you're at, around the world, shalom to you. Proverbs 9, verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows what? Nothing. 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 Not a damn thing. Nothing.
I just wanted to say the funny thing, I like what Swint brought up, but the funny thing about that is the main people always calling somebody black. If we remember correctly, growing up, it'd be black women. They'd be the main ones calling
not even
somebody
just black
as
women,
hell.
bro. Not even just black women, bro. It'd be dark skinned black
Yep.
women who be the main ones calling people
ones.
crusty, be the main ones saying niggas. Remember we was going up niggas African booty scratch.
Yeah.
Not before.
bitch, you a stick. You need to eat.
Ones calling people that.
Oh my, black, a dark skinned woman will roast your ass in a minute, bro. That don't give a damn.
Exactly. But real quick, I was saving this precept for a while, but I think this is a good point to bring it out. This is Sirach, the 3rd chapter, verse 23. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are short unto thee than men understand. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment. Without eyes thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. And that's the thing with women in this society, because they've been so empowered and they have, they're able to speak their mind and basically do things that women have never been able to do in the past 100 years. Not saying that, especially in this society, America, not saying they should go back to how things were 100 years ago, because that's the thing with Esau. There's never balance. Now, back when they were in rulership and the man was in charge, it was a little too far, and now we're on the opposite end of the spectrum because they're not really one with nature or understanding the spiritual aspect. But that's a whole other point. But to get back to my main point, because women, I feel that they're so free and empowered, now they have the ability to talk about things that they really have no understanding about. Like this chick right here, she has no understanding about what she's talking about. She's just very passionate and she can yell. And the thing is, this is what a lot of women do, because they like to imitate men. Because, sometimes men, when we're passionate about certain things that we're talking about, we will, project our voice. We'll be loud, but we're still bringing out logical points. We're not just screaming irrational sentences. Because, basically, to be honest, we spent the last probably 10, 15 minutes breaking down what she actually said. Because what she said, just when you, if you were to just write down word for word what she said, it was really incoherent. You know what I'm saying? It made no fucking sense. We had to actually break down what she meant from a logical perspective. Exactly. And that's just the average woman when it comes to their mindset. They can scream and talk about a lot of things, but for the most part, because they don't use logic and reason, everything's fueled on their emotions. Like Ghetto said, they're going to contradict themselves. They're going to talk about things that they really should not be talking about because they don't understand it. And even another precept, I'm not going to go to the verse, but I'll just summarize it for those of you brothers who've read the New Testament and the words of the Mashiach. Christ says, during that time, a person who's exalted is going to be abased, and a person who's abased will be exalted. A lot of these women in these days who exalt themselves really for their ignorance, when that time comes, they're going to be destroyed, man. But let's get back to this video.
Are you ridiculous? Go read a book.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I think that, if you're an ally and if you hold privilege, if you're the oppressor in the situation, your job is to shut up and listen.
Well,
okay.
And also, I invited him to.
No, I understand. I didn't mean right. I didn't mean here. Like,
what type of society does what she said even make sense? You just shut up and listen.
You're the oppressor.
And it goes completely against human nature too, because human nature teaches you and shows you that when someone's in power, people are going to listen to what they got to say because they're at the top. They represent success in society. They represent how to reach the apex of whatever kingdom that you're in. So people are going to listen to that person to give them instruction on how to reach or how to, come to some sort of level to their success. You may not get to their level, but to achieve some type of success underneath the umbrella that they've built. That's just human nature, to listen to what people who are at the top got to say. So to sit there and try to sit there and say, oh, well, you're at the top, you're the oppressor. Well, the oppressor is at the top, but if you have the ability to quote unquote oppress, that means you got the power to influence to do whatever you see fit on anybody else because you hold the power and the influence, like I said. So you're at the top, you run shit. People are gonna look to you about how to walk up the ladder, how to get to the next level, how to raise, your status or whatnot. That's what people do to people. That's how people look at people who are at the top of any kind of situation, whether that or any kind of environment, whether that be societally, whether that be in your personal workout regimen. You got someone who's really in shape. you know, they're at the top of that field. You gonna look to them for guidance and instruction. You got someone who's really good with the scriptures, man. You know, you said what?
I said they ain't gonna look to you. So like in her mind,
exactly,
like, oh, you're the oppressor. You just shut up and listen.
Exactly.
Or how about as an oppressor, I tell you to shut up and listen. Listen, and I'll whip your back. And since I'm the oppressor or some shit, like.
Now I feel she motivated me. I'm going in tomorrow to my boss. Well, not tomorrow, but on Sunday. I'm going to my boss on Sunday, and I'm saying, listen, since you're the boss, I know you're the boss. I know you make all decisions around here, but I need you to shut the fuck up and listen to me for once, all right? Like, I need you to shut your mouth.
Like, come on, man. Even if that wasn't the actual structure of how things went down in terms of having your livelihood in terms of your financial way of making money was dependent on, you know, how much respect you have for your boss. Even if that wasn't the you know, how the layout was. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want just solely to rely and dependent on your boss and the level of respect you got for him in terms of you keeping your financial, you know, headquarters upright and whatnot with money coming in and the third, even if that wasn't the case, that's just natural human nature to look at people who are at the top of a certain environment or a certain field and say, you know what, they at the top for a reason. They got the power and influence for a reason. Let me see what they got to say so I can get a piece of it. It's like what Stephen A. said when he made that statement, when he said, every day I wake up and I think about how to make my bosses some money and how I can get some of that. And niggas went in uproar over that. Oh, Stephen A.'s a coon. He a sellout. And he is. Don't get it twisted. He is. You know, he is a sellout. Don't get it fucked up. But that's not the reason. That's not the reason he's a sellout. He a sellout for other different reasons.
He a sellout because honestly, the average nigga doesn't even know why he a sellout. That's
exactly. That's a whole nother thing that we ain't even speaking on in this video. But the money aspect of it, that ain't the reason. That's how people who are underneath someone view the person above them. How do I get them to a level in which they view me as valuable enough to keep feeding me money and to keep feeding me information that's going to get me more money? That's how you view. That's how it works. That's how it works, man. I got a precept. This is Sirach 13 and 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his
hold on. Before you say that, let's get a disclaimer. You know, there is a spiritual aspect to this verse, but you know, we're not going to today.
Of course. Yeah, I'm speaking from the physical aspect.
We're not gonna go there today.
Of course. I'm glad you mentioned that. You're gonna have someone, oh man, Malak, see, man, you carnal, man. You're just looking at that physical, man.
Hey, we're in the wall 144K. I know you're in the chat somewhere.
I appreciate you saying that. But this is Sirach 13 and 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue. And look, what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Since you had that as well, D-Man, I'll let you go ahead and break it down, bro.
Oh, yeah, I was about to. I gotta go back to you. Didn't read verse 22 too.
Oh, okay, cool. Sirach 13 and 22. When a rich man is falling, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet man justify him. The poor man slipped, and they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. Verse 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look, what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him.
Exactly. And that's the spirit.
That's the spirit, man.
It really is.
And then I got one more precept to add on that. It's basically, like we were just talking about earlier, when you're in a position of power, people are going to basically be vassals unto you. They're going to, laugh when you make jokes. They're going to try to please you. If you a man, women are gonna flock themselves around you. You have groupies. Dudes are gonna be chummy with you. They might even be envious or hate you, but they're gonna keep that to themselves. Basically, they ain't gonna tell you to shut the fuck up and listen. They're gonna listen to you, and if they even feel like they're interrupting you, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry." But I actually do want to bring up one more precept and add on to that point. This is Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, verse 19. A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. You see, this is the issue with us so-called Black people in this society. We're trying to tackle this from an emotional standpoint, but really our issue is monetarily. And to be able to, well, first, to be able to even touch the monetary aspect, we got to fix the home. And then once we fix the home and we have strong families, we have a strong community, then we'll have the money to actually combat a lot of the things that are plaguing us. Because, for example, if we want certain laws to change, well, you know what? That means we got to put some money in these politicians' pockets. We got to put some money in police's pockets. We got to raise our kids to be policemen or politicians. So, like, basically, you're trying to fight money with emotions, and you're going to lose every time. And
every time.
That's why the rich man who is a king against people who are oblivious to him, because he has that wealth, that money. You as a poor man, people don't care about your feelings. In fact, in general, most people don't give a fuck about how you feel about anything. It's only when you're in a position of power where people act like they care because they want to please you so they can get some of your crumbs. That's basically how this is. In fact, that's how all these women are right here, because they really don't want a solution. They're begging the so-called white man, at least this dude, because he's a stand-in for their animosity for white people in general, to throw them some crumbs. Please change. Don't be racist against us. Change the system. Basically, throw us some crumbs.
And I'm just a real quick point on that, on the white man point as well. I'm glad you mentioned that aspect with the white man, because you can tell even in this clip, they got so much more respect for that white man, even though he's a white man and he's coming with and they're I wouldn't say they're mad, they're emotionally hurt by what he said. They got so much more respect for him than they do that nigga that was basically placating the foolishness of what she said. When he made his diatribe, made his point, she looked right over that and she went right back to that white man. She went right back to that white man and addressed what he had to say. She didn't even say appreciate that, thank you. She didn't even look at the nigga. She didn't address what he had to say at all, bro. She went right back to that white man and addressed his point.
To take it further, we're getting to that guy. They quickly did his whole talking point. He was like, we need to talk about the issues that we can fix ourselves as a people. She was like, well, we're not talking about that. So
that brother too,
So just to take it one step further, what D Ben said, we got to fix the home. The first thing that we got to do is fix the soul. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, once you fix the soul, everything else, like I always say, if you once you get the mind and the soul, the body just follows. So everything else outwardly will just take care of itself once your soul is right. Now, of course, as we know, that will only be for whoever the elect will be at that time, because, like you said, society's only getting worse. So it's not going to get any better until divine intervention comes back. But Deepan is absolutely correct. You got to work on the home, though. You got to work, and it starts with the men. It starts with, the quote unquote king. We ain't talking about that whole do better king. We ain't talking about that bullshit. No, we talking about a real king.
I love my black king.
Exactly. No, we not. No, none of that crap. We talking about a real king mindset. None of that mushy gushy bullshit. No, a real king. You got to think like a real king. You got to make real tough decisions. You got to be able to understand. And like D-Ben said, which is something I love saying. Nobody gives a fuck about you, bro. Okay? Nobody does. If you die tomorrow, I want you to understand this. Of course, brothers in the knowledge, they understand this. Of course, shalom, shout out to y'all. But for those outside the knowledge that, wants to get a better understanding of life, I want you to understand this, okay? I want you to hear me loud, hear me good. If you die tonight, if you die sometime between tonight, tomorrow morning, whatever, I guarantee you 99.9999999% people on earth won't give a shit.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Think about that.
Just to add on why these women are complaining about white people need to change. They don't care.
Exactly. They don't care. So take what I just said for however you want to take it. I'm not pushing you to do anything negative. I'm just giving you the facts, bruh. So if you want to get depressed by what I just said, and that depression leads to you doing something that you definitely shouldn't be doing, I'm not going to say that word, but well, not live on camera or nothing. But I might bring up that word behind the scenes or something. But if you want to do that, listen, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you that no matter how you take what I'm saying, it doesn't change what I just said. Most people don't give a damn about you, who you are, what you're talking about, nothing. They don't give a damn. So please understand, it's no different in this video. These motherfuckers, the only reason why they even give a shit about the so-called white guy is because he is in a position of power. In their words, the oppressor. He's the oppressor. So of course they're gonna listen to what he has to say. He's the quote unquote rich man in this what was it? Ecclesiastes 10 and 19, I believe. That what you said?
Ecclesiasticus 13 and
No, D-Ben's precept.
It was 10 and 19. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 and 19, yes. Oh yeah, because that was Slakia, that was Malak's verse, the rich man.
No, yeah. That's
Yeah,
where
that was. He is the rich man in this case. Everybody's listening to what he has to say, and it's going to get to the point where you're either defending what he has to say or you're strongly against what he has to say. But everybody's listening, everybody's paying attention. He's the star of the show, pretty much, other than the stupid, skinny, against colorism, whatever, against anti-blackness bitch. Other than her, he's the star of the show. Everybody wants to know what he has to say. It's clear.
Exactly.
So there you go.
And it's clear by the way of how they shut up when he's listening. They shut up when he's talking. When the one nigga that was talking that was basically pandering himself to her talking points, he had to beg to fucking talk, bro. I think his name was Courtney. Courtney, let me get this out real quick. That's what he had to do just to get a word out, bro. Just to get a word out, he had to beg the bitch. Just to
and he was on her side.
He was on her side, bro. But the white man, he come in, got a completely different point. Well, he I won't say he has a different point of view. He said something that rubs her the wrong way emotionally, and because of that, it's looked at as he has a different point of view from the depth of the conversation and whatnot. Because of that, him basically showing him who he actually is. To be real, the white man can only hide behind that white guilt shit for so long. When they actually show who they actually are, it doesn't matter what side of the fence they on. They gon' because you are the perception of the man in power. They gonna listen to what you got to say. It's people in general are gonna follow you, listen to what you got to say, and see how what you say can benefit them. And one of the main things as well, why the man in power don't give a fuck about what the vessels got to say about him, is because the man in power, the one on top, whether that be in a societal thing or whether that also be in a little environmental things as well. Whatever person's on top of whatever environment, one of the main reasons why they ain't gonna care what their subsidiaries or the vessels got to say about them is because they knew what it took to get to the top, which means you got to take over someone else's at the top. And as long as you ain't doing that and you begging them for shit, they know that they got you. They know that they got power and influence over you. Unless you talking about shit outside of their influence, outside of their scope of their touch being on it, if you still asking him for shit, begging him for shit, asking him to give you something, asking him to lessen himself, to uplift you, as long as what you want to get accomplished got him involved in it, in terms of and not from the aspect of toppling over him, he know that he got you under his wing, and there's nothing you can do to ever take his place.
AKA this truth is something that they want to shut down. That's how you know it gets to
Facts.
But when you bring this truth up, niggas ain't got shit to say, so that just lets you know who they really love.
Facts.
All right, let's keep pushing now. We gotta see what this silly bitch got to say.
But like, I mean, just in the movement, right? In your space, right? Same goes for men. Same goes for cis people. When you're around trans people, when you're around women, you have to listen to their experiences because our voices are being shut down. You don't get to define language. We've done that. You have to learn, right?
Right.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
that everyone does get conditioned. When I say that people are conditioned to be quote unquote victims, no, like I already said, Black people have to deal with internalized anti-Blackness. We have to deal with colorism. We have to deal with sexism. We have to deal with the patriarchy. We have to deal with all.
But there is no black patriarchy, bro. There is no black patriarchy.
She said colorism. She said feminine. You see, when she's talking about Black people, and you know what's funny? These men around here don't even realize when she's talking about Black people, she's talking about Black women. They don't even consider you like. She doesn't even consider the men like actual like people. They're more like objects to be used to promote their agenda. Because you notice when she said the things that Black people have to do with, she said colorism, anti-Blackness. Then she said feminism and
cis people, trans people.
None of the shit she listed Black people have to deal with.
Which goes to show that they live in a big delusional bubble too, because they live in a bubble where it's just them and it's only them. And Judah has alluded to this as well when he said the Black woman really views herself as her own.
It's our own demographic.
It's 100% true. Exactly, that's 100% facts. They view themselves as their own demographic people, their own race, and the man is only someone that's used as a resource, a protection vessel when they get themselves in the shit by way of their own mouth and their own
security
guard, basically, and a sperm receptacle. That's all the Black man
is.
Majority of the time, not all, but 99% of the time towards them. Also, too, she spoke about the patriarchy. Bruh, there is no black patriarchy. There ain't been no black patriarchy around in 40, 50 years, bro. The black patriarchy has been dead for centuries.
Pretty much.
These bitches so strong. These bitches so strong. They thought it was a patriarchy. God damn.
I know, right? They so strong. They still think it's a patriarchy out here. So stupid. But I just want to say this. I just want to put this golden nugget, this golden idea out here. I'm telling you, speaking of quote unquote patriarchy, whatever the fuck that means today, we gotta do a video on the man bashing episode. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Because that's
one of these.
Just to add on to your point, that's really the her showing her insecurity and her fear, because there isn't really a black patriarchy.
Exactly.
But Black women mind there is, because as long as they're like niggas like us right here, they would say we're part of the black patriarchy just because we have our own thoughts and opinions. So basically, for them, the black patriarchy means we need to get rid of every man who disagrees with women on any topic. They just have to. Every man needs to follow women. Once that happens, the patriarchy is dead. Like, you know what I'm saying? How delusional these women are, man. They just.
Facts, bro.
I feel bad. If she's dating a nigga, God, this nigga probably killed himself, man. God damn.
Hey, she probably would a white man too. I bet you she would a white man too.
I know, right?
I can't see it, bro. I can't see it. She's just too much.
Nah,
or she used to be.
Nah, I can definitely see it, bro. The way she look, the way she talking.
She might be with the white guy in the video.
Watch them actually be together. That's gonna be hilarious.
She might be with a white bitch. I don't know.
I can see that too. I can see that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Definitely see that one. Definitely see that one, bro.
But she's just.
This bitch wicked, man.
Brothers or father, I feel sorry for them. God damn. You know how to shut the fuck up. Shit.
And the thing about it is, she not even like she not like, damn, who is this either? But she ain't no like butt ugly chick and then like some hideous to look at woman. She decently attractive.
Yeah, she's a decent looking black female.
Yeah, she
bro.
decent. Exactly. But her damn attitude and demeanor and her lack her unwillingness to listen at all to anyone's opposing perspective on anything just drops them from like a 5.5, 6 to like nigga a 1, nigga.
And you see the reason Ken said that. Ken, I guarantee you, if she took that thing out of her nose and she just acted differently, you would see it, bro. Like her point, like Swint was saying, her points would go way up, but that goes to
I'll say this. As somebody who actually because I've done a lot of breakdowns myself of some videos on their channel. So I've seen her in different videos. You know what? I'm not going to even go there today. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be what they would consider immature to try to stray away from the point. You know what? I'll save that perspective for when we're done with the sluts.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say when it comes to her look. That's all I'm gonna say. That's why I can't. That's why I can't agree with you. But I feel what you're saying.
I like the nose ring. I ain't gonna cap. I like that shit. But I get what you're saying though, JT. Her wearing that, it gives her a perception of who she is within her own mind, and she acts accordingly. She acts accordingly.
Like when I see a nose ring like that, I automatically assume I pin that with liberalism because that's usually what it is.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It has a perception associated with it, and the females, because of that, not only do they act like that, but they try to. A woman who usually does things like that, she tries to overdo it to the point where, she doesn't feel like if she feels any kind of inkling of being a natural female within her mind, she got to overdo it to subside that feeling that she just felt. And they do things like get a whole bunch of tattoos, which she got as well. Get a lot of tattoos, get a lot of piercings. Especially wrong with it's individual man's preference. I personally like women who got piercings and shit. I'm gonna be real. I know it's not lawful or whatnot. I like bitches with tattoos, so I'm gonna be real. I like this shit. I know it's not good. I'm gonna be real though. I like it. I'm just being honest. I like this shit, but I know what's associated. Like Hitman was saying, what's associated with those things is usually heavy liberalism. But on top of that, a lot of females, they get those things when they go on certain emotional trips of thinking and talking and maneuvering like an actual woman should. Then they try to do those certain things to try to overdo it. Not only do they do the things physically, but they do it within their talking points as well. It's like a compounding thing. And then they just go into it, and then they just turn into a damn demon that can never be shut up.
Yeah, like this chick. But speaking of a demon, let her keep going on.
Swin, I'm gonna say this right now. You better hope no R144K is not in this chat after you just said that about tattoos.
Nigga, that's the thing about this truth, bro. We gotta be realistic. I like bacon. I don't eat the shit though. I like
everybody
bacon,
like
nigga.
bacon. Damn near everybody like bacon.
I like
somebody is going to pop up those statements right there and send it to that nigga. This nigga like bacon. He likes bitches with tattoos.
He said he likes bitches in sweatpants and in leggings instead of skirts.
Hey, but you gotta remember, man. A lot of those dudes, they're prophets, so we not on that.
That's true. That's true.
Like, I don't know if we can have you on the streams anymore. You sound unequally yoked, baby.
Yeah, you crazy, man. You thrown off, cuz. You a bug out, cuz. You a bug out.
I'm going off. I don't take this.
Going off.
Seriously.
You are a carnal bug out, sir. Too much carnality in this live stream. I'm sick of this.
Niggas like that, bro. Like JT said, they think that they a prophet of the Most High, so they got jurisdiction over you to determine what should be right or wrong, or what you should like and what you should not like within your own mind. So niggas like that, I don't even pay no mind. Bro.
Yeah.
We can like something and understand that is wrong. Like, not saying that you do just because you like something don't mean you do. It's called discipline, nigga. Just because you like something don't mean that you do it. Come on, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, we could have a whole nother life.
I thought we were about to cook that nigga, but no, we can't do that. We can't do that right now.
Let's get back to the video, bro.
All these things. Would I say that makes us victims? Would I say that, we have to, as individuals, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps to fucking escape this matrix capital hellscape? No, it's ridiculous, and that's not even how it fucking works. And only his whiteness as a white man that has been raised his whole life to believe that he is an individual, special snowflake, completely in control of his own destiny. That's why he can even fix his mouth to say that.
Were you talking more from like a confidence standpoint or pull yourself up from the bootstraps?
No, I was not saying put yourself in the bootstraps. I was saying that if you are conditioned, right,
to the point sounding like lower.
Because I think it's gonna come out.
Go ahead,
And this is really
that's my guy.
Really an issue of semantics. Like victim was the trigger word, and that's what started all of this. But I understand what he's saying because Seren, she's the super black nationalist, and she takes a very extremist view. So if she's saying, what he's saying, I understand the point he was trying to make. If she's saying that basically all white people are racist because they're preconditioned to be racist. So he's saying if in this system people are already preconditioned to be racist or preconditioned to be oppressed people, oppressed would have probably been a better word to switch out.
Ghetto, didn't we mention that earlier? And by the way, oppressed and victim, it's the same shit. I mean, it's the same thing.
Exactly. But he's being smart about it. He's changing what he's doing is he's changing the wording around to try to get the other, I don't know, so-called black nationalists. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know why the fuck he said that shit for. Whatever that really means, because that's just silly.
They wanted it as an excuse to go back and forth with the white dude. If he had said oppressed instead of victim, they still would have been like, what? Oppressed, blah, 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 blah. So like, it's all emotional with fools. Let's keep
Shout out to Carl for thinking, for coming in from that mindset to change the word around, but to swap a word in there that reiterates the same context. Shout out to him for that one.
For sure.
That was smart.
A victim. So he's saying the same way that white people have to make steps to remove themselves out of that thing. That's the equivalent of what black people should do. But again, it's gonna sound.
To remove yourself from oppression.
What? Did you hear what she just said? He said you cannot take steps to remove yourself from oppression. Oh, well, then you're gonna be oppressed your whole life. You're gonna be oppressed your whole life.
But you know what? That is, she a woman, so that's how she posts the thing, bro.
Exactly.
It ain't even for her to think otherwise, but she want to sit there. She got so much penis envy. She thinks she can think of solutions like a man, but she just showing her ass when she gets involved in heated battle type moments. She can't, that natural female inside of her, a victimhood, can't help but come out. I saw a woman post a thing, man. They take on that because that's how they wired, man. They take on a victim mentality. They think that someone's supposed to come save them. They think that there should be certain things set up to help them accomplish their shit. Men in our natural mindset, we don't got them notions or them. We don't think that things should be given to us like women should, man. But she want to get in the heat of battle. She want to rumble with the lions like the men do.
Tools, nigga.
Exactly.
And honestly, shame on these black men for not calling her out and be like, "What are you?"
Yeah, shame. Yeah.
Why are you even here?
Shame.
If we can't save ourselves from our oppression, why are we even talking? The conversation be over at this point.
It really should be.
It really should be. If that's how you feel, okay, then conversation over then, because he's not going to save us, and we can't save ourselves, so we're fucked.
I know, right? We're dead. We're dead.
We're gonna be forever, slaves, just evolving into a different meaning of what that word is.
Exactly.
That's what we become over time if we never have no end game and no solution, which is why you see a lot of these liberal blacks get behind a nigga like a Colin Kaepernick or a woman like a Tamika Mallory or women that Jamel Hill is another good one, or Carrie Champion, or these people that run these females that found Black Lives Matter or whatever the fuck, and or a Brian Flores or someone like that. They have no end game solution. They just want to complain about shit over and over again. Expect the white man to take your complaining seriously this time and lessen himself so that you can be on a higher level and quote unquote equal to him. What world and what society do that work in? You can't go to China and expect the Chinese man to lower himself to fit your demands. You can't do that, man. But you think the white man should do that for you now in America? Come on, man.
But honestly, this conversation, Ghetto, what's the dude's name?
You talking about the one that just talked?
Yeah, one just
talked. Carl.
The interaction between Carl and the liberal hotep black bitch, it shows you what the real problem is, because this man is trying to present a solution, and what the black bitch basically told him, there is no solution. Let's talk to the white dude. That's basically exactly. Because she's like, oppressed people cannot save ourselves from oppression. So basically, it's like me as a black woman and you as a black man, we can't come together, and I can't follow you and get a solution. I gotta go to the white man. That's all she's fucking saying. That's all she's saying.
Exactly.
That's why in fact, black women like it like this. The reason why they say or at least I'm using her as a microcosm for the thoughts of many liberal Black women, which are like 90 to 95% of women in America. The reason why they say only the oppressor can save us is because, nigga, we don't want you to be our leader. I'd rather the white man be my leader. That's what all this shit breaks down to. I don't want a Black man leading me.
Facts.
I'd rather be free and independent. So I'd rather go to the oppressor because at least with him, he's gonna allow me to have power over you, nigga. That's all the fuck that she's saying.
The white man liberates them.
The
white man gives them liberties and freedoms. And they know if a society was run with Black men being the head, well, rulership mentality and mindset, especially brothers who are in this truth and who know these scriptures. If we were the ones, of course, underneath Yahweh Shah, if we were the ones running society, they know they would have no choice but to either be in their place or be dealt with. It's either one of the two. It's not no liberation. It's not no. I mean, you'll have rights per se, but it won't be quote unquote women's rights as the with the modern day viewpoint. You know what I'm saying? It'll be based off of the ways of the scriptures, ways of righteousness of the Most High, and they don't want that way. And you know why? And you know they don't want that way because anytime that way is presented to them, basically anytime a brother's preaching the truth to them, they always run to the white man's religion and the white man's spiritual philosophies, his churches and whatnot, to tell you why your Black ass is wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, alchemy. Alchemy is the new thing now. Everybody's reading that dumbass alchemy book.
Exactly. But honestly, I think that was a great way to pause. She's just showing her ass. But you know what's funny about women? They say a whole lot of, or at least this chick, I'll speak for her. She says a whole lot of nothing, but a lot at the same time. Ain't that funny?
Liberal whole lot of nothing. You know what? We haven't done it in a while, man. Hold up. Before we go back. We can't be inconsistent now. Proverbs 9:13. Hold on, Mitch. I got it right. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She's like Wale's mixtape. More about nothing. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I can't remember right now. What's that one precept where it talks about the woman? It's in Proverbs, essentially.
I think
they always trying to learn before come to any conclusions. I'm summarizing it.
You said they what?
They always are curious and want to learn, but they can never come to any conclusions. It's in Proverbs.
Oh, whimsical, caprice, something like that.
Oh,
whimsical, something like that.
Yeah. I think it's something along those lines.
I wish I could remember it. Like, it'll come later. Let's keep moving on.
This is my actual question. I was just trying to explain that. This is my actual question. As a person, like especially out here, like in the New York Eastern Tri-State region, how are y'all more upset at some random white dude in the sticks holding a tiki than the white person moving y'all out of y'all neighborhoods right now?
I don't like
and that's what, and then that same liberal person, that same person is gonna, they're masking themselves as allies. They're liberals. They're voting for all the people.
He's getting at him now. He's saying that same. He's really attacking the issue. He's basically letting him know, liberal, conservative, it don't matter. But let him keep cooking.
Y'all want to vote, but they push me out of y'all neighborhoods. That dude with the tiki isn't really but I'm just saying there's but I don't see the same outrage. I don't see y'all protesting. I don't see y'all in Clayton Hills protesting. I don't, protesting, holding banners up like stop moving people out of our neighborhoods.
Go ahead, Maxine, and then Jeff.
Exactly.
Maxine, go ahead, then Jeff.
I think you make somewhat of a valid point, but I don't think you're acknowledging the factors. Like institutional racism comes in economics, it comes in education, it comes in a lot of things. So we can psychologically want to believe that we are no longer oppressed or we're equal to everyone else, but unless the systems in place to allow us to do that, how will that ever happen?
Well, despite what I do, I'm still going to have the privileges of the top.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So
when you say take actions, what do you mean?
Every day.
Because if you can take actions, but if the opportunity is not there or the avenue is not there, what do you do?
You make your own.
What is he, Bill Clinton?
You make your own opportunities. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
Make your own opportunities.
This nigga Donald Trump? Like,
for those of y'all who ever played football and were running backs and were decent, there's like the three things you learn as a running back. You see the hole, you hit the hole. You see the defender,
exactly.
I'm the defender. But like the elite running backs, you know what they do? They make their own holes, man. They say, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm gonna hit those yards by hook or by crook. And that's really the mindset that us men, because the women, they're demonstrating right here, they don't have the solution. But us men gotta be like, you know what?
Not even close.
The system's against us. You know what? The court system's against our father. So a lot of us didn't grow up with a father in the home. But it's harder for me to get my education. When I get out of school, I'm not getting the same opportunities as other races of people, including Black women. But of course, they don't want to touch this in this video. But you know what? I got to figure shit out. Figure it out. Because at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck about your problems. No one wants to hear you complain. Figure that shit out, bro. What's that? You know that one album by 50 Cent? Get rich or die trying, man. Figure shit out, man.
Hey, man, like that song on Get Rich, Die Trying. Nobody likes me, but that's okay, because I don't like y'all anyway. I don't like y'all anyway. Fuck all y'all. That's how it's gotta be, man. And I'm tripping. Like, once again, another foolish woman. You know what? Should we do it again? I mean, good grief. Another foolish woman did it again. But even though she spoke in a much more softer tone, what's that precept? Her words are as sweet as honeycomb or something like that.
That's talking about the strange woman in Proverbs, the 5th chapter, I believe.
She's more so like the strange woman is sweet, but that shit's bitter. That shit's bitter what she's talking about, because she's talking about the same bullshit. She just said in a sweeter tone to the so-called white man. She's doing the same shit the Black nationalist is doing over there. The alleged Black nationalist, whatever the fuck that even means. She's doing the same shit as her. She's just doing it in a softer tone. She's doing it in a much more pleasant tone. But she's saying the same bullshit. Like, who is this guy supposed to be? We didn't know this guy until we watched his fucking video. What is he in politics? Is this nigga part of the Trump? Was this nigga part of the Trump administration?
They expect him to have all these damn answers to their problems.
Exactly. What are you talking about? Who is this guy? Is this dude creating opportunity zones where he live at? Like, stop it. Who cares? Who cares? Like this, like the two so-called Black men that have spoken so far, those are the ones that made the most sense. We got to address this amongst ourselves. What are these solutions that we can come up with amongst ourselves? But we're not talking about that in this video. Like the host already said, we're not talking about that in this video. So
yeah, let's listen to the white man speak a little bit more.
I know.
Right. What is the action we should take?
Yes.
What is the action that the oppressor should take?
Yes.
The oppressor.
Do you hear this shit? Let him go ahead, Ashton.
No, the oppressor.
Let's go back. Listen to what the nigga said.
What do you do?
Right. What is the action we should take?
Yes.
What is the action that the oppressor should take?
Yes.
The oppressor.
No, the oppressed. We're not talking about the oppressor. We know that y'all lit, but we talking about the oppressed. Because you said, like, if going by the screen that Carl attempted to set for you, was that you, but your victimhood somehow meant, no, guys, I just meant be better. So what are those? That's what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to give you that. What is that action that the oppressed should take?
Right. So when I walked in this door today, right, I didn't think that I would be coming into anybody who I saw was embodying being oppressed. Like
again, but like what he's really trying to tell us, I didn't think that, but now that I see y'all, I see a bunch of oppressed people. Like, but let him keep going.
I mean, I know the system. Okay,
let him finish.
Like, I knew that people were coming in here prepared, like educated, and ready to talk about what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's no weakness there.
Yeah.
Right. Despite the fact that there's a system, right, that is pushing people down, right? Everyone in this room other than myself, right? Pushing people down, right? I'm not seeing victims. I'm not seeing oppressed people. I mean, I'm seeing that. I'm not seeing individuals who are oppressed.
You're seeing people for people.
Do you see color?
I'm speaking the right language. If somebody, if you feel like if you
Do all like that?
So what I'm telling you is that whatever it is that you do, right, to fight oppression, right, as your own self, right, whatever that may be, then that's what you're doing. Like there's people that don't know how to fight that, but I did not think that I was going to walk into a room with people with questions about how to fight oppression.
No, we don't.
Well, those niggas are stupid. You know what? I'm done with this. Proverbs 9. Proverbs. No. Before we go further to what this so-called Caucasian man is talking about, because he's actually correct. We got to go back to the dummy with braids real quick. We got to go with the dummy with braids real quick. Once again, Proverbs 9:15, starting at verse 15. To call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. This guy is a simple man, i.e. a simpleton, i.e. a retard, because this dude is like, oh, how do oppressed people fight their oppression? Well, I don't know. What the fuck you been doing before you got here? What are you talking about, bruh? Like, nigga, you're here on a YouTube video at a table having regular conversations. If you was truly oppressed like that, your ass would be in jail or dead by a motherfucking white guy right now. But you're not. You're in a public space having a public forum conversation. Like, dude, are you not paying attention to your own life? What is wrong with this guy? He lacks no understanding of his life.
It's not even about that. It's the fact that he lacks self-awareness, and they really don't understand. The white dude was saying, like, before I came in this room, I thought you were more intelligent than I actually am seeing now, because like
exactly
he's saying it in a very nice way, but like he came in the room, he's like, I expected y'all to have the own solutions to your own problems. I didn't expect, essentially he's basically saying I didn't expect to come to a black forum and provide y'all with solutions to your own problems. I just wanted to hear y'all perspectives. That's why he's so confused right now. He's like, y'all don't know what to do.
Exactly, y'all retarded. And it's like, nigga, what did you do before you got here? Do that. Try that. I mean, come on now. What do you mean? Like, it's just dumb shit when you hear people that are living regular lives talk about how quote unquote oppressed they are all the goddamn time. It's like, dude, like, and they don't have any idea how to quote unquote fight oppressions or public stigmas or whatever. It's like, dude, like, what was you doing? What was you doing? Sitting in the closet somewhere staring at the ceiling, watching the paint dry? Like, bro, you was doing something. You must have been doing something positive to be at this table. Like, just to put into context for this show, the lady that sits at the head of the table, and then there's another dude. He's not in this video, I don't believe, but he's a taller guy. I told you this before, D-Man, but it's a really taller guy, gay dude, by the way. But yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But it's him and her. They are basically the brain trust behind the show. Like, they basically decide who's on each and every show. And you would think it would be based off of their merit, things that they've studied, college degrees, blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera. So you would think that they put you on the show because you actually have merit and you're actually somebody who is at the very least educated, if not intelligent, and you know what you're doing in life and you know what the fuck you're talking about. They won't just put, I don't know, Pookie and Ray Ray on here sitting across from each other arguing. No, they're going to put people that they deem to have some type of sense, some type of drive, some type of self-confidence on these shows, because they want these shows to be viewed in a light of edification. Now, of course, we know that's not the case. It's just mostly entertainment, but that's how the show is supposed to be viewed. So for these idiots to get on here and knowing that they've done things in their life to overcome obstacles, to now be talking about, oh, we're just going to always be oppressed, and white men, what do we do? How do we fight oppression? Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like what the hell was y'all doing in y'all lives before you got here? Try that. Or keep doing that since you was already doing it.
Exactly. And that's the main crux of the point he was bringing out, where he was just like, well, how can an oppressed person get out of their situation? Like, because he's really not trying to hurt their feelings, but he's basically saying, figure it out. It's your life.
Yeah,
You got to figure out how to get out your own condition. And really, I'm so ashamed of that black male. I can't even say he's a man, a male, to ask him.
Mouse.
Well, you was the oppressor. How does an oppressed person get out their situation? Let me just read a precept. This is Isaiah, the 30th chapter, starting at verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in the high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. This precept is really just a summary of why our people fell, and we know it's because they're rebellion. Not only were they rebellious to the Most High, which we still are today, meaning his word, his laws, his statutes, and how we conduct ourselves. We reject that, but we rather trust in our oppressor. Like, look at this man. He's literally asking the oppressor how he can get out of his condition. But I guarantee you, if one of us brothers was to say, hey, man, you're an Israelite, you need to turn to the Most High, you need to follow the law, statutes. God, I ain't trying to do that.
Exactly.
He's a Christian, so that ain't gonna happen.
I'm Israelite, man. You off, man. I don't know what's up with you, man. Like, just love Jesus, man. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
But when he wants to get out of oppression, instead of going to the word, he goes to this white man. And literally,
he thinks this dude right here is Christ with a haircut.
Exactly. But even look, it's actually perfect that we pause right here. Even he's perplexed and confused. Like, he's like, really? So you view me as the oppressor, but you want to know what my opinion is to get you out of your... That's interesting. Like,
that's so stupid. That is so ass backwards.
So
like, come on, dog. That's like you playing chess and you asking the person across from you, hey, what is your next move? Like, how can I beat you?
Exactly.
How can I beat you?
No matter how much they try to play like they on your side, no matter how much they try to play like they got your best interests at heart or whatnot, they still loyal to their nation. They still loyal to their people at the end of the day over you. No matter if they even got a black wife or a black husband or whatever the fuck, they still loyal to their people over you at the end of the day. And I think a lot of black people just got to get your mind wrapped around that. These people don't care about you. They either don't really care for you like that. They have no opinion, or they're indifferent towards you, or they fake acting like they want to be your best friend. It's one of those three things, man. It's like they could care less about they may care about individual black people. They may have individual black people they care about, individual black friends or romantic interests and whatnot, but they don't spend their everyday thinking about the well-being and the state of the nation in terms of, you know, how the president do those State of the Nation union addresses and whatnot. They don't think in their mind, say, I wonder what the state of black people's like today. They don't think about that, but they got too much going on in their life. And quite frankly, it's not their place to care about that anyway, because it has nothing to do with them, because they're not our people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you asking more from them than what they should really do. You should have enough care yourself about your own people that you don't need their input, that you actually review them trying to put their input on your matters as an insult to you. That's how you really should view it. Honestly, if you're a real rulership mentality minded black man, you would even be offended that a white man is still trying to even talk to you or placate to you any kind of way about the quote unquote black plight. Like, this has nothing to do with you. I'll be offended if you even in the conversation trying to give an input on what our business is. It has nothing to do with you at all. You know what I'm saying? That's what your mindset should be as a black person. But a lot of black people, they just can't separate their mindset of operating outside of this man's society, operating outside of a world where this man doesn't have his imprint and his stamp of approval on what it is that you do. They just can't wrap their minds around a world that the white man isn't the center of focus and attention. Based on the liberal black woman's hierarchy, what she want is she want the white man at the top. Don't get it twisted. She don't want herself at the top. She want the white man at the top, because they don't want to accept that same amount of responsibility that comes with actually being the person that institutes certain things in society. They just want to be the top subsidiary of that. They just really want the white woman spot. They want to be what a white woman is. They don't really care to be what a white man is. And you got some individual black women who want to think that they think on that level, but from a universal black woman perspective, they really just want to be what a white woman is. They want to be the top. Let me not say that. They basically just want to be the top person who the white man is, giving his resources to and allowing and giving certain leeways to do whatever they want to do to. That's pretty much what they want. And then they want to take that right there and be in rulership and power over their own nation of men. That's pretty much what they want to do. They just want to be the white man. Fuck it. They want to be the white man's top bitch. That's all they want to be.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
That's all they care about. They just care about being. They just care about being.
Oh, that's what you was gonna say.
Right,
That's what you was gonna say. Then you was like, I can't say that.
I was like, you know what? Let me not say that.
Really, if you want to be accurate, they want to be the bottom bitch. But
exactly, they want facts. It's even more accurate.
Yeah.
They want to be the bottom bitch to the white man. That's pretty much what they want, man. They want to be at the same playing field as the white woman, and even be on top of the white woman. They want the white woman to actually look at them as, and people in general to look at them as a standard of beauty. That's another thing as well. See, black women, they're all optics and, well, not even just black, but women in general, though, optics and looks oriented. They don't really care about all these societal things that they say they do. All they want is to be the white man's top bitch and to be the standard of beauty amongst all people. That's what they want. They want to be the white man's top bitch and the standard of beauty. That's why they are constantly trying to fixate themselves to look more like the white women and other nations of women that have those specific features. That's why they do those things. They want to be the standard of beauty in the world. They don't care about all these societal issues like they claim to do. And honestly, quite frankly, it's not for them to care about either. It has nothing to do with them, because the man is the one that influences how things go in a certain society, and the woman's just there to add value when she can add value to, and to be a benefit of whatever system that you guys come together and form. That's pretty much what she set out to be, and to also add in certain areas where she can add and whatnot. But in terms of the big major thinking, in terms of the big planning and steps and solutions, that really has nothing to do with her. So when they try to act like they can think on that level, all they end up doing is showing where the true allegiances is, which is just being the black man. Really, they want to talk about oppressor, being the black man's oppressor, being the white man's top bitch, and being the standard of beauty amongst the whole world. That's all they want.
Isaiah 3:11, man. Isaiah 3:12. Sorry.
Exactly. And I want to get this precept right here too, because it really stems from this mindset. This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 43rd verse. It says, "The stranger that is within thee shall go up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail." So we live in a society right now where this is on us in full swing right there. But why is that? Quite frankly, we know the spiritual reason as to why that is, but I'm not touching on that. Just going into the physical and the mindset reasons in regards to the things and the ideologies that our people embrace. Basically, a lot of our people have a mindset where we have a complex where we think the white man should be our sponsor for everything. He should basically sponsor us in everything that we do. He should fund our communities. He should fund our stores. He should fund our way to be able to achieve higher level education. He should fund our way to be able to achieve a better life outside of the current environment we live in. We got a mindset of the white man should be our sponsor for everything, and that's when you have that mindset, they always gonna have power over you. It's just like if you were an athlete for a clothing company, you were an athlete for Nike and whatnot. That's why they were so threatened by LeVar Ball, because he had a mindset where he didn't want his son. That ended up doing the shit anyway, because that shit ended up falling. But that's a whole another story.
Yeah.
But he had a mindset where he didn't want his sons to be pawns and to be subjects for Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma, things like that, because he saw the earning potential they could actually achieve if they actually had their own shit instead of being basically just another athlete on the totem pole. Because when you are that, you can never be at that top level. You can never get to the level of power and influence those people at on. It ain't even really about all the money. The money is as a byproduct of you having the power to influence. You can't, but you can't get to that level if you always are being sponsored by someone else. If they always lending to you or giving you money or giving you things to help you achieve, you're conditioning yourself to beg and beg and beg them for whatever it is that you need. You always running the daddy. When you're a kid and you need money, what do? Hey mom, hey dad, can I get $20? Because you're a kid, you're a child. Your parents are your proverbial sponsors. You know what I'm saying? But you got to grow out of that mindset when you get older, you know, especially as a man, you got to go out of that mindset. When you get older, the white man is not supposed to be your sponsor, bro. You're supposed to pave your own way. You know, now of course you got to work within this system and whatnot to be able to get to where it is you need to go. You get to. You know, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having a job. Nothing wrong with going to college, and none of that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with any of that at all. You got to do what you got to do to get to where you want to get to. But every black man should have the mindset eventually. Of course, I'm speaking in a society that we're not, you know, because we're in the last days, anything can happen at any given time. We all know that. But just speaking, you know, proverbially speaking, you know, if we were in a society and whatnot where it was a reasonable solution for every single black man, you know, you should want to achieve and get to a level where you don't have to rely on a pseudo sponsor, whether that be a boss or someone that basically you have to go to in order to get your living necessities. Only person that you should really strive to go to for those things is the Most High. But we live in a position where most of our people have been trained to view the white man as a lender and a sponsor. That's why you see niggas in tons and tons of debt, niggas taking out huge loans for cars, humongous loans for houses, and this, that, and the third, instead of a mindset of how can I invest so that I can get to a point where I can own my own shit and I don't have to have a lender and a sponsor. But as long as we're in that mindset of sponsoring and lending at the white of looking at the white man from that perspective, then we're gonna always be in this position. We're gonna be asking him, how can you help me get out of the situation that I'm in? And why the hell should he do that? He's benefiting off of you being at his behest, man.
Exactly. And just to add on, by the way, everything we're saying is hypothetical. None of this shit we're saying is going to happen.
Exactly.
You know.
And that's why, on a deeper topic, how we mentioned how the white dude is correct to the degree where the woman's like, oh, well, you can't just tell a whole race of people to pull themselves up from their bootstraps and fix it. Well, at this point, we're not even dealing with the whole nation. It's only a remnant who gonna get it. But that's more into biblical prophecy. Bitch like her, she's not gonna make it. Most them niggas aren't gonna make it.
Oh yeah, no. That bitch ain't making it.
I would say that Carl might make it, but like I said, we would have to go into more other great prime breakdowns to where he probably won't either. But it's really based off spiritual aspect with him. But I ain't gonna put that on Front Street. We'll say that for another time.
For sure. Let's let Carson West's brother go ahead. Jason Wentz, we'll call him that.
Jason. Oh my God.
I don't think the question is
guys, let me direct the conversation, please, because people are going to watch this and not be able to hear anyone talk. So wrap up your thoughts.
Right. So I don't know what people of color need to do or what you do every day to fight oppression. But what I do know about myself to reduce I get what you're trying to say. Right. So to reduce my own
contribution,
right? Thank you, to white supremacy, right? There are things that I do and I know about those things. I mean, I don't know if we have the time to go into that. I don't want to be the focal point of everything, but right. Like that there's direct actions that you take every day.
Go ahead, Jeff.
And just to stop him, like
didn't I just say that shit?
Right. It's very simple. He's been saying it over and over again. But basically all he's saying, I don't know what people of color do to fix the issues that they have in their lives, but I know what I do. So it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, whatever race you are, there's always a solution to your problems. You just gotta actually sit down and think and actually be committed to basically solving the problem. The main issue, which none of these bitches want to admit, they don't want to solve the problem. They actually love the way things are because right now they don't have to listen to the niggas. And that's basically that's the parts of the issue that they're not going to address. But
Black patriarchy.
Exactly. But I just want to let them keep going for a little bit.
So I used to always make this joke that I wish I could take white privilege for a week like the Limitless vote and just see how it is. No disrespect to you, fam, but your privilege doesn't get you to see that even if we do all of that, we still will never get to your level because you can take all the steps. You can be.
God. And this is the problem with niggas like him. Like, for you to say that, is he God? Is he the most high?
Yo,
Improve.
this guy, yo. I'm finna punch this nigga dead in his nose.
You're my God. I can't ever reach your level because, like, forget the entire nation because that's a whole aspect. Because we're talking about you as an individual. What can you do in your life? Because you can't tell me you as an individual can't work to the point where like you're maybe like lower middle class, upper middle class, or not even that, just living well, being able to pay all your bills, take care of your children, retire comfortably. Like that's really what life is about. Fuck all this extra shit, man.
But also look at this though. If you heard what he just said, how can you expect any black female to respect you after you just said something like that, bro?
Facts.
Yeah.
That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah.
That's facts.
100. And let's let this nigga bury his own grave because he gonna keep talking.
Ally, super Saiyan ally. But you'll still be up top. You'll still get the same opportunities. You're still starting at 100-meter dash, 90 meters in front of you. So wait, hold on.
Basically, all I'm hearing from this nigga is like, all you beautiful black women, don't be with me. Be with this nigga because he's just better than me. Suck his penis because he's better than me in every way. Like, what kind of weak ass shit is this?
The way he talking, he sound kind of sweet. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro.
He's sweet. You can tell.
You do.
Said, you're 100 meters ahead of me, and I'm just slow and retarded. I can never catch up. Can you just slow down so I can catch up? That's what this nigga sounds like.
What a dork. This nigga sound like a nerd.
Lame.
Lied.
You remember that shit from SpongeBob where like with the pickle head dude like who are going jellyfish?
Oh, loser. That's what he calls SpongeBob a loser. Loser.
This fucking the lamest nigga who spoke so far. But let's let him keep burying himself, man. This nigga is weird.
Oh, so you're already starting ahead. So for you to be that ultimate ally, you gotta bring the system down. You gotta bring the entire system down, including sacrificing your head start so that we all can be equal. And I'm gonna keep it real. I can understand on a human level, I can understand because we're all fallible. I can understand why a white person was already there. Even if economically, if I'm not there, shit, I still need a head start. Because you know what? We have to be twice as good to get equal. Y'all can be half or a third and still get there. We can tell you
Look, that shit is so overrated, nigga. It's not 1965. It's not 1970. It's not 1980. It's not like to be honest. Most of the issues that we as black men have isn't about making money or getting a job or being successful in life. It's normally our poor decision making with women. That's the main thing. I'll just be honest. All that extra shit about I can't get a job, nigga. There's LinkedIn. You can apply to 20 different jobs and find a job within a few months, man. If you need to, you can like do a job with less paying money and grind and do something with your life, man. Like there are too many options for a nigga to be talking about. I gotta work twice as hard, and if you gotta work twice as hard, so be it. That means you're gonna get twice the reward. Ain't that what life is?
Exactly. Who cares, bro?
That's the spirit. I was just finna say that. Like, what's wrong with having to put your best foot forward? Shouldn't you strive to do, especially if you care about something? Should you strive to do that with a spirit of excellency towards it, man? Why would you half-ass it? So you're saying that's what I'm saying. Niggas just want to sponsor, bro. That's all they want, bro. They're going back. Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. That's what niggas want, man. They just want they just want a lender. They just want a sponsor. They don't want to put no work in. They don't want to put a pedal to the metal per se. They don't want to grind. Even as much as niggas talk about how they grind, I'm grinding. I'm doing this. I'm grinding all day. What was that phrase from that dude Eric Thomas? Something about sleep. What he say? He said basically said if I don't sleep, I don't eat. It was something like that. I work too hard to sleep. It was something in regards to that, man. That's what niggas give the facade. They got that mindset, but really, majority of niggas just want to sponsor, man. They just want the white man to sponsor they upliftment, and it don't work that way.
And by the way, most of these dudes are finished because if they're quote unquote millennials, majority of them are 35 pushing. They're like, at this point, if you're in your 30s, 32, 33, 35, and you still complaining about you are finished. You're going to be a loser your whole fucking life, unfortunately for this.
Because the problem with complaining is you want things, your desire for things is leading to your own delusion. That's the problem. Because, you know, if you're working a regular job, there's too many times, as somebody who definitely works a regular 9-to-5 job and things of that nature, you're gonna have those thoughts on a regular basis. They're gonna come up like, man, I don't feel like doing this. Man, I'd rather just be at home chilling, blah 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 blah. But you never allow those thoughts to truly dictate how you go about yourself on a regular basis. You always come back and it always snaps into your head. At the end of the day, that's not reality. So let me get up, let me go to work or wherever I need to go and put these hours in so I can collect my check at the end of the week. That mentality always stays with you. Now, of course, we are in the quote unquote last days. So at the end of the day, as we know, everything's coming to an end pretty much. But just from a regular sense, like that, you can't allow the type of thoughts of, man, it would be nice if I was home right now. You can't allow those thoughts to dominate your mind to the point where, man, I need a sponsor so I can just go home and chill and live high off a hog. Because yeah, most niggas are broke, but newsflash, not trying to be offensive, but most crackers are broke too. Yeah. Like, I hate to break it to you. Like, it's just like this notion that you guys are trying to make you guys are trying to make being broke or financially financially challenged a quote unquote racial issue is completely ridiculous. That whole, what they call it, income gap, racial income equality gap between so-called blacks and so-called whites, that shit is so obscured. Like the way they come up with those numbers are completely misleading. So it's just like the average so-called white person is broke, the average so-called black person is broke, the average so-called Asian, Latino, whatever, broke. So it is what it is. You are in America. You gotta figure it out. Like D-Ben said, you gotta find a way to, at the very least, make do. If not, live good. If not, live better. It is what it is. You got lemons. Make lemonade. We know the old saying. So I don't know what you're complaining right now. Because you want apple juice, nigga. Fuck you and your apple juice, nigga. Make that lemonade and drink it. Like, who cares? Do the best you can with the lot that you got. Because that's all you got. That's all you can work with. You can't change your hand. It's like playing cards. Once you pick up that card is in your hand. You can't just change it. You can't just put it away in your pocket and say, "Oh, that ain't my card no more." No, nigga, that's your card. Deal with it. Deal with the hand that you dealt. It is what it is, and make the best you can with that. It's that simple.
How to win. But even just to add on to the point that this is a problem with a lot of brothers, because clearly he doesn't have the mindset of a ruler, or administrator, or a leader, because he's just complaining about how they're so much further ahead and you got to give up some of your rights so we can catch up. That's another issue with brothers, especially so-called black men, and this brother particularly. We don't have the mindset of a futurist, and we're not looking to make our children more successful than we were. That's why he's begging for crumbs and hands out. His mindset should be like, look, life sucks for me. I'm not at the same level as quote unquote white people, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set it up so my child after me will be further than I am. And then his child after him will be further than he is, and so on and so forth. And then lo and behold, we as a nation of people will be where we want to be. But that's the problem, because niggas are always focused on it's funny that we talk about black race and black issues and black this, but really, a lot of niggas use that as a cover for me. Give me this, provide me this. I need a job. I need to make as much money as a white man. I need to do this like white people do this. Me. But you know what? If you were focused on things that you should be, you'd be more focused on, okay, even if we were gonna believe his narrative that, every brother got to work 2 times harder to get to the same place, and white people have it so easy and things like that, and we got to work hard. Okay, well, brother, you know what that means? this ain't your generation, but you know what you got to be focused on? Your children, and making sure they have the advantages that you don't have. And then those children will work on having the advantages that their children don't have, and so on and so forth. Because, I mean, this is the problem with a lot of liberals and a lot of that white supremacist programming. It really, it takes away their self-awareness, that because they use the term white supremacy, they view the so-called white man as a godlike figure, meaning what? He just is supreme. He's just been like that. And it's just his nature has always been supreme, as opposed to understanding, no, their race of people had to work towards this point. The reason why they have the benefits they do now is because their forefathers before them put in the work. So you nigga, you got to put in the work so your descendants will have the benefits. That's how that goes.
And to bring up another point too, is if they knew their history, they would realize that, nigga, you're the spoiled one. You're actually spoiled.
Exactly.
You actually have the riches, the spiritual riches. Nigga, we just got this money with, I don't know, the Eye of Horus on the back of it, and you know, whatever bullshit. Nigga, why do you think Salve Coagula exists, nigga? We want your brain in our body, or our brain in your body, however the fuck they want to look at it. But you know what I'm saying? We like that motherfucker said in Get Out, I want your what do you say? I want your eye, something like that. He was like, I want your eyes, man. He said, I want to see what you see. He's envious of you, not the other way around. That's why he does all that stuff. That's why he creates these parameters for us that we have to deal with. I mean, it's all the behest of the Most High to keep us tested, to keep testing us to remain humble, of course. But just from a physical perspective, he's envious. He wants what we want. You know, any other so-called race that he did it to, or actual race that they are, they would have been crumbled a long time ago. The fact that there are still true Akim still here that still have enough confidence to, no matter what their lot is, no matter how bad that lot may be, they get up every day and, you know, they give all the praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and they keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit right there, that shit irks that shit makes their skin crawl. It's like, what is up with these guys? Like, what, how do they do it? Where are they getting this from? That's why they want to be in our minds or our bodies, or however the fuck you want to look at it. Like, they want to be us so bad that they're willing to do anything and everything to destroy our environments. And we still keep it going anyway. But you know what I really think it is? I really think pretty much all those dudes, especially the ones that's talking like this loser is talking, I bet you they in corporate America, bro. And like COJ always says, so-called black men should not be in corporate America.
Yeah.
I wouldn't look past it, bro. These niggas is probably have a corporate office job, and they just sitting there depressed all day in their damn cubicle, looking up, I don't know, shit on Mansa Musa and shit.
He mad because Chester got the promotion, he didn't. That's what he mad about.
I know, right? So now he looking at Mansa Musa like singing that Lion King song. Oh, I just can't wait to be king, and all that other bullshit. which is a good metaphorical message, but they're talking about, you know, in that little pro-black Kemet bullshit. So it's just a shame when you see guys like this, because he is well spoken. He can communicate his message really well, but the problem is his message. His message itself is just booty butt cheeks. I ain't talking about thugnificent booty butt cheeks. I'm talking about the bad booty butt cheeks. This shit hot garbage. Like, this shit's just bad. He is properly, clearly communicating a bad message. Like, that's just no good. Like, come on, dog. Like, the so-called white man needs to tear down either his own system or the system that directly benefits him. In what world does that make sense to you? Like, what books have you been reading? Have you been reading the MLK book again? like, come on, man. Like, stop it.
I remember one of the females, the white dude needs to read. It seems like some of these brothers need to read, like, because like you said, name a point in human history where a nation of people are just going to be like, you know what, we're going to set ourselves up for failure. Because that's basically what you're asking them to do. Set themselves up for failure so you can feel better about yourself, black man. I don't
Exactly.
know.
Like what?
That only exists in movies and comic books and shit. Like that's not real life.
Exactly.
Like what society has there ever been where a nation who was on top willingly relinquished their power? Like, come on, man.
Can we have your power? Sure. Here you go.
Exactly.
No, it's like in reality, they're gonna say you're gonna have to take that shit from me, nigga. You want
Exactly. Take it or die trying, nigga. But I got a precept. This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2. I mean, it's a lot. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. And the word peculiar means special. That ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light. So that's the mindset like that we gotta view ourselves from. Like y'all brothers was going into about how how Hitman was saying how we the real prized possessions, we the real chosen ones, we the real gold. They the bottom, they the scum. They the real scum of the earth. They the real black people. Per se. Black meaning death and darkness are associated with death and darkness and scum and trash. They're the real black people. You know what I'm saying? We're like I was reading earlier in Lamentations, the 4th chapter. We're the gold. We're the precious daughters of Zion. I mean, sons of Zion. I'll be using that phrase "daughters of Zion" a lot to contrast what brothers be saying about how these women are daughters of Zion. So that phrase "daughters of Zion," I say that kind of frequently. But
yeah, I feel you. I don't think I've ever said sons of Zion before. So
yeah, exactly. We the real sons of Zion, and the women too. The daughters of Zion. You know what I'm saying? The woman who on the right. Who got the right mindset? You do got a small portion of women.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, it seemed like it's a few, which it is, but you do got a small portion of women who got the right mindset, who are reverencing their husbands if they got men, who are adding value to their man's life instead of constantly subtracting, from his life, whether that be his money or his time and his attention, or just being a damn nuisance to him all day. You do got some women who got the right mindset. So those precious daughters as well, the small that there is, but you do got some. But us sons of Zion, we're the precious sons of Zion comparable to gold, man. So we are that priesthood. When you go into the apparel of the royal priesthood, man. You got all the fine gold, you got all the jewels, you got all the great jasper, and I mean, even think about how the kingdom's gonna be built when you read Revelation the 21st chapter, man. All the fine gold and all the precious jewels, stones that the kingdom is gonna be built. And you ever looked at some of these stones? And of course, we only have a portion of what we can read online or from Esau's Google that we could see what these stones are comparable to, and the kingdom is gonna be 20,000 times more greater than a Google image that we can see, or if any brothers got some stones that we can see as well. But it is precious and it is glorious and it's beautiful, man. That's what we compare it to, the most glorious gold and finest gold. Then the scriptures say in Isaiah the 13th chapter, I will make a man, they're going to an elect man, I'll make a man finer than the gold of Ophir, man. So we are comparable to that, but we got to see ourselves as that, man. And once we see ourselves as that, not only are we going to treat our brothers with more respect, like we were getting into earlier, we're going to treat our brothers with more respect and dignity and decency, which will change the state of the community overnight. But also we're going to treat ourselves with that same decency and respect towards ourselves, meaning what? We're going to expect great things from ourselves and expect the best effort from ourselves. See, when you actually care about yourself, one of the biggest blessings that you could give yourself is discipline and instruction, because that formulates your life in a direction where you have your mind set forward on the right things, and you don't let anything distract you from reaching that end goal that you may have, because it takes discipline to be able to get to that level, man. So you will put your best foot forward. It don't matter if you got to work 2 times harder. Shit, you expect to work 2 times harder anyway, because you expect great things from yourself, man. See, the niggas like that, these are lazy niggas. They have a lazy mentality and a lazy mindset. Like I said, they just want a sponsor. They don't actually want to, do anything. They don't actually want to grind like niggas say they do and whatnot. Because they just want someone to give shit to them, and it's not gonna be. It's like, of course, people can give you gifts, and they're nice gifts. People can give you money. It can be a great assist to you if you're in a situation where you need it. Or when if a nigga just give you money just cause. That's wonderful. That's great. You didn't have to use your own money to do something that you was gonna do. It's wonderful. But it's not the same as when you actually go out and put the hard work into accomplishing something. That reward that you get from that is gonna be 10 times greater, which is why the reward that we get in the kingdom is gonna be 10 times greater than any award that we could get or any prize or any gift that we could get on this side. Because you gotta endure so much in order to get to that level. Not even just now, but in terms of the interpersonal things going on with different relationships, with different family dynamics, with different battles you gotta deal with yourself and your own flesh, overcoming yourself. That's a big battle. A lot of people don't talk about it, but overcoming yourself. But then on top of that, Jacob's trouble, overcoming the plagues and the media propaganda, overcoming, submitting and subjecting yourself to all the different technological advancements that are putting your mind. And I'm not saying don't involve yourself in none of that. I'm not saying you wicked if you are in the metaverse. I'm not saying you wicked. Well, unless you don't got to have a charagma to get into it. I ain't saying that you wicked if you do that. I ain't saying you wicked if you like technology or whatnot. I like technology. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you wicked if you engage yourself in some of these technological advancements that Esau is coming out now and in the future. But what I'm saying is that if your spirit is aligned with that and you can't separate the entertainment aspect of that and the joy it may bring you in the present moment from what's everlasting, then your mindset's going to be deep into the downfall of what that's actually leading to. Not about just what it is, but what is actually leading you down the pathway of being and engaging in and whatnot. So, discipline and things like that, and respecting yourself and putting your best foot forward towards your own self by viewing yourself as that final goal helps you withstand a lot of that, man. Which is why the blessing that we get in the kingdom is gonna be way greater and way better than anything that we could ever get on this side. Because everything that you're gonna have to give up, with more sacrifice comes a greater reward. It just is what it is. So when nigga talking about, oh, he gotta work half as hard, but I gotta work twice as hard. Well, hey, brother, if you gotta work twice as hard and he works half as hard, that means you get more information and more knowledge. That means you get a greater understanding, a more in-depth understanding of what it is you're actually doing. I mean, you can teach someone to operate something on a greater level than what he can, man. You're paving, like Demon said, you're paving the pathway for a better generation to follow after you than they can, because you actually know more, because you've learned more, because you've put the more time in than he has, man. I want to get this precept. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of a sinner is laid up for the just. Right? We got to really break that down, man. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, man. When a man builds up an empire, right? Say he has a few sons, man. He got to decide what son he gonna leave an empire to, man. Now, in a righteous society, it would just be the firstborn son. Then the firstborn son would divvy up how he sees fit. But say he got 3 sons, and we're in Babylon, so you got to see which son is the best heir to the throne, man. You choose the son that's most qualified, then that son divvies things up, then go on to the next son, the next son, the next son. And if you don't have a son and your daughter and whatnot, it just is what it is. So a good man leaves a legacy behind. That shows you actually care about your children, which is one of the biggest things that's wrong in the Black community, because we don't pass down nothing to our children, man. All we do is pass down bullshit, baggage, and curses. It's all we pass down to our children as a whole. We don't pass down no wealth. We don't pass down no real knowledge. We don't pass down no understanding. We pass down some damn food recipes, curses, kids, and baggage.
Even just to add on to what you're saying, it's the opposite. It's not only that we're not passing an inheritance, we eat up our kids' inheritance, meaning whatever money they have that they could potentially save up for future generations. You gotta help me, son. You gotta pay my bills and my utilities. You gotta do this and that for me. And I will never forget this. I think I was watching an interview. I can't remember which players were talking about it. It was like some Black NBA players, and they were talking about basically Kyle Korver was in a situation as well. So basically they were describing, and they're like, yeah, I was telling, as soon as I got this check, I got to buy a house for my mom. I got to buy a car for this. I got to do that for my family. I got to take care of my cousin. I got to do this. And I believe it was Kyle Korver. It was maybe him or some other Caucasian of player, and he really said, asked the Negro players, he's like, wait, really? Y'all pay for your parents' home?
Yep.
Y'all pay for your parents' car? Y'all do that? And they say, you don't? They're like, no. And in his mind, it's just like my dad has his own house. He ain't interested in my money.
Exactly. And if you do want to do something for your parents, it's just because you want to do something for them. It's not because they need it for their survival. Then it's not like they don't got a home, or they the college that you went to because you were such a star athlete. The college put them up in the home in the meantime while you was going to school. The college move your family out so you go to your football, so you go to Alabama. Your Nick Saban move your family out to Tuscaloosa, and your family lives in a house 5 minutes from the stadium. And then that's just a placeholder until you get to the league and you get your big check. Then you buy, as niggas say, buy my mama a house, man. Buy my mama $1 million house, man.
With my first Lambo, nigga.
Dumb shit.
But see, this is the problem with Black people. We don't view our children as investments. We view them as a potential winning lotto ticket. It's like, exactly. That's why, especially Black women, are like, go to school, get a good job, get a good education. It's not really for your sake. It's so when you make money, then I can eat off your riches. That's really what that shit is about. And unfortunately,
unfortunately, man.
Like a lot of them, it really is about what they can get from you, as opposed to like you actually being successful and being able to have shit for your future generations. They ain't worried about the future. They're worried about me. And that's the issue with our people. It's all about ourselves and not about the future.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing with these live streams. Yeah, we definitely gonna have our fun roasting these retards. But this is why we always that's why we always find ourselves going to the scriptures, man. Because clearly these niggas ain't never really read none of the true details of the scriptures before, because their answers, a lot of times their answers, like what I was talking about before, it all starts with the soul, right? I.e. mentality, self-confidence, self-esteem, things like that. That's where it starts. It starts from up above, and then it goes inside, and then it branches outward. So just to get to the point, Proverbs 9, starting at verse 10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One, of course, of Israel, is understanding. For by me your days will be multiplied, and years of life will be added to you. If you are wise for yourself. And if you scoff, you will bear it alone. Things as we've been talking about a lot, you gotta deal with life on your own, man. You gotta get up, and no matter what your challenges are, you gotta face them, because at the end of the day, and you will do your best you can to face them, and you gotta live with whatever the result is going to be, as long as you tried your best. Because like 2 Chainz said at the beginning of Big Amount, he was like, I'm gonna tell you something real quick. If you woke up this morning, nigga, you winning. You for real. It's that simple, bro. I remember when we first reconvened in Dallas, and it was just me and D-Ben in the car, and he had told me, man, he was like, man, it's just fascinating how you've been through all the stuff that you've been through. We ain't finna get all the details and stuff right now, but you had been through all the stuff that you've been through, and you still chilling, you still cooling it, like you just go through your regular comings and goings, like ain't nothing really, you ain't been facing no crazy shit or whatever. And it's basically like that. Like I was saying, like, nigga, I'm still alive, bro. Like at this point, like the most I ain't said, you know what, your time's up. You know what I'm saying? Like he still wants me to be here for whatever reason, so I'm just gonna take that. I might not know what it is, but hey, that's good enough for me. As long as I'm still here, I have a chance to figure it out while still being alive. You know what I mean? So clearly there's more for me to do. That's why you can't be complaining about whatever your lot is, because especially as a Jake, of course, only speaking to Jakes here, but in the Most High eyes, there's still more for you to do. there's still more for you to understand. There's still more for you to reach for. As far as the Most High is concerned, however he's looking at it, because that's his decision at the end of the day, not yours. In his eyes, he doesn't believe that you've done enough. He doesn't believe that he doesn't see that you've done enough. He doesn't see that, you know, he doesn't see that you've done enough on this earth. He believes that there's still more for you to do. There's still more for you to obtain. Yeah, times are only going to get worse before they get any better. But at the end of the day, if you truly have that self-confidence, if you truly been understanding the ways of the Lord, I forgot what precept that is in Proverbs. But if you truly understand the ways of the Lord and you understand who the Most High is and the prophecies and things of that nature, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you getting up every day, nigga, you winning. Cause the Most High, like, man, I need him to be alive for whatever reason. As the scriptures say, the first shall be last and last shall be first. So at the end of the day, you gotta keep going, man. You gotta do something. You gotta do something positive with your life, man. It might not always be what you want to do. As a matter of fact, 9 out of 10, as you know, as us in knowledge, now that more times than not, it's going to be things that we might not necessarily want to be doing at the time. Most of us rather just be sitting somewhere chilling, head knee deep into a Bible somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's what we rather be doing all day. But in the day, you know, in the day, we got to be able to, we got to deal with the lot that we got. Because in the day, the most I could say, you know what, nah, that's enough. Lights out. You know what I'm saying? Nighty night. You know what I'm saying? He said, all right, that's it. Nah, that's it for him. He can do that anytime he wants to. So at the end of the day, the fact that he believes that there's still something there that you need to see, that he wants you to see, I mean, that should be good enough for you. But hey, that's the difference between earthly men and potential celestial men. Celestial men know the ways of the Lord. As I've been saying the last couple of days, Proverbs 16 and 25, there is a way that seemeth right unto man, but thereof are the ways of death. These guys are just killing themselves. They're killing themselves mentally and spiritually long before they're going to kill themselves physically as these last days come about, because they're believing in dumb shit. They really think that this redhead or pseudo redhead, so-called Caucasian dude is going to give them the tools to salvation. It's like he's looking at y'all like, what do y'all do for a living? Like, what the fuck? Like, haven't y'all been doing something before y'all got here? Y'all don't look like a bunch of smelly ass bums to me. Like, what's going on? Like, what are y'all talking about oppression for? Y'all not sitting in a fucking field somewhere picking cotton for 18 hours a day. Like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all probably live in nice apartments. Some of y'all got families, whatever. Like, y'all living okay. Y'all living better than the average so-called white person, probably. So what
They're
y'all
not
complaining
living in the
about?
Ukraine right now.
Real quick, one thing that I've noticed about especially like niggas who want to be the loudest about these issues. You ever notice, for the most part, they really don't they complain about white supremacy and white oppression and I gotta work 2 times harder, but they really don't come from that real hard ass environment for the most part. Because the niggas who really come from the hood, like really struggling, have really dealt with oppression and quote unquote white supremacy, they too busy trying to make money. They ain't got time for all this extra shit.
Facts. Absolutely. But I was just saying, they talking about white folks. They're not living in the Ukraine. Those are white folks. They about to get dealt with right now.
They better get destroyed, guys.
Like that's a great point you mentioned, JT. Like, I mean, we know America's Babylon the Great. We get it. You know, we understand that. We know that. And because I'm not trying to sit here and say America is amazing when I make this statement. We all know what America is, but I'm gonna be real, bro. Like, if you a real brother and you honest with yourself, you know what I'm about to say is true. Like, there are certain privileges and advantages to living in America, bro. There is, bro. It is what it is. There is. You know, I understand this Babylon the Great. I understand that the spiritual fornication in this place is beyond the scope of needing to get destroyed. I understand. I get that. But if you know the way of righteousness, then that don't really concern you, because you You got the faith that you're gonna be protected. You got the faith that the Most High is gonna guide you in the last days. You got the faith that He gonna feed you and protect you and all that. You ain't worried about all that, man. And you're actively, diligently getting more information and knowledge to sustain yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually when the time of trouble comes in, man. You watching the prophecies, you're reading the scriptures, you know, you're doing the work, you understand what's going on. So you're not gonna be thrown off by nothing, man. So with that mindset already being there, now if you ain't got that, then that's a different story. You need to drop everything and get it. But if you already got that, then you know, I'm just gonna be real, bro. Like you can make some shit happen in America, bro. You can get to the point where you don't have a boss. You can get to the point. Honestly, you ain't gotta work hard. It's gonna take a lot of hard work. But I'm just being honest, bro. If you work your ass off to try to put your best foot forward to accomplishing something, I'm not saying you are going to do it, but you can accomplish it, and you can live a decent lifestyle. It's just a reality of the situation. You don't gotta go days without running water, days without food, days without electricity, gas, and certain things like that, like some Jakes do in other countries, man. Like JT was talking about with some of them dudes over there in Ukraine. You live in extreme poverty. Even the hood, even when you go up in the hood or hood type environment, bro. Like, yes, it's bad. Don't get it twisted. It's bad. I know. It's bad.
Not that bad.
You know, but it's not that bad, nigga. Like it's bad, bro, but it's not that
You
bad,
see,
bro.
it's a trade-off because, right?
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of resources in Babylon, the trade-off is a lot of spiritual wickedness. So if you're born here, you might have a lot of mental like difficulties that you have to go through.
Exactly.
But you know, outside, say like a third world country, the culture is stronger, but it's a lot harder out there. There's not that many resources. You feel me? So it's a trade-off.
They the epitome of if you woke up this morning, nigga, you winning in them other countries. And that's the whole point. When you ain't got that much, you just grateful to still have a breath every day. You know, you're just grateful to get up in the morning. That's the whole point. Niggas ain't grateful just to be able to get up in the morning anymore. So, and that's the whole point. Like, nigga, like once you're grateful for every day, that translates into you being more productive or doing your best to be more productive at the very least, because no matter what happens today, nigga, as long as I get up tomorrow, shit, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. So it is what it is. You have that positive mentality. Sorry, I just had to finish that, but go ahead.
No, for sure, exactly, bro. But honestly, I was gonna play the video, but I'm gonna say one thing real quick. See that brother right here, nigga? You gotta get out this damn room, nigga. Look out the front.
You talking about doing it on the right?
Oh yeah.
He's like, why the fuck? You see my cursor? He's like, why the fuck am I here? Why am I here?
Well, let me say this, because we probably will never do that video, but that's not actually a nigga, bro.
Was he like a Middle Eastern?
That's a T, bro.
No, that's no. That's a his father's a F Jew. I'm not gonna say, you know, his father's Jewish. That's all I'm saying.
Oh wow. He's a tear, nigga. Bro.
And I did not know that till I forgot what video I was watching of theirs. He said his father, he was like, I call myself black. I've always called myself black, but my father is Jewish. I was like, oh my God.
Brother right here, you're not black. Next.
Yeah, I was like, shut up.
He a terror, bro. Damn, he a chocolate covered Edomite, man. He a caramel covered Edomite, bro.
He's some white chocolate.
Hey, he a waffle colored nigga,
bro.
Yeah, he does. I was shocked when he said that. I was like, huh?
Like at first I thought you were gonna say maybe he's like Hispanic or Middle Eastern or something.
Nah, it's probably Jewish. He a Mr. Farrakhan type nigga.
Oh wow, damn, bro. That just go to show you, bro, that you can't go strictly all the way 100%
really
based
can't.
off looks, bro. Like a lot of. You said what?
No, I was saying he's a backwards Drake.
Real shit. Real shit, bro. If Drake wasn't raised up in the If Drake wasn't raised up to be an MK asset, nigga might have a chance, but that nigga done.
Yeah, that nigga done. we got men being pregnant emojis because of this dude.
Real quick, let's just let Captain Stupid finish his point, and then I'm not sure how much more we gonna listen to of this because I'll be honest, they ramble after a while. So maybe we'll stop with him, depending on what the next person says. Let's see.
If you really want to get educated, we can all tell you stories about job applications and going into interviews and killing interviews and then finding out that somebody mediocre got a position over you. And no amount of allyship, no amount of wokeness is going to help me unless you help bring and topple that system. And I think that's what it is, because I can understand, if I had $1 for every time I misspoke, I probably wouldn't be, because I'd be rich. I'd probably be on a boat somewhere, right? But the thing, relax. But what I'm trying to tell you is, I think you're coming from that position of, I want to help, I want to be a positive contributor, but I don't understand if I can do these things, why can't y'all do the same in order to get ahead? And there's a lot of other factors that you don't have to see, because you never have to see, because in your walk of life, you can traverse this earth and never have to deal with what we have to deal with just by living your life. And we don't have that luxury.
Well, I was going to compare it to a prison. So if you were someone who...
Okay, honestly, I'll let her do her analogy, and then we would just, close on that, to be honest.
This is good that you're actually going to go into this, because this confirms what you was talking about, how the so-called liberal, so-called black woman worships the so-called white man. The analogy... not the analogy that she's going to use, but how all the women respond to her analogy confirms that.
Yeah, so we're going to cover this point and then, cook and then close. But I'm going to just let the whole thing play out, and then we go over it.
Wanted to help black prisoners, and you're like, these are great prisoners. They're educated, they're smart, they're nice. I'm going to be the good CEO who takes care of them. Here's extra cornbread. Yo, Devon, I got you. Here's this and that. But you have the choice to walk out of jail when you feel like. It don't matter if a guard comes and I shake him because I'm trying to get the jail to break down. It don't matter if I'm cursing out this other guard because I'm moving. The doors are still locked. And that is the system that we can't get out of this prison. All the doors are still locked. It don't matter how many people I talk to, communicate with, whatever. But if you're the CEO, if you're in the power of that jail, you're the one who still got the keys. And I think when we're talking to you about your privilege, the first thing you start to say is I. As a white man, all you have to do is be the thing. Like that, yeah. But we can't make direct actions when there's a system over us that's capturing us in this cage. There's so many keys and doors. There's so many keys and doors to unlock, and I think that's the integral part that you're missing in your privilege. That you could just be like, well, start acting. We've been acting, but this thing is still here.
Go ahead. Is anybody at the table have anything to say beyond that?
What strikes me is that this discussion started about Trump and what is new, and how he has emboldened a population that has been there the whole time, that has been sleeping, and what that means about how we should change and how we can best combat that. And I agree with the critiques that say that it has to be systemic, right? And my question then becomes, how do we do that? Because when the idea of talking to Trump voters came up earlier, there was a lot of hubbub and disapproval.
No, we said talking to a white supremacist.
Well, there's going to be an overlap there. And even
who cares? Who cares what they have to say about anything? But Ghetto, should I let it go a little, like a extra minute, or you think?
I mean, I would try to see, because she actually does make a good point here. I want to get to well, you actually can't see her right now, but the bitch that's all the way at the end on the right, because she literally, what she said was so funny, but we might not be able to get to that. But she actually does ask a good question here based off of the premise of the conversation. She's asking a good question.
All right, for sure. I'll let it run then.
we're having difficulty even having a conversation with someone who wants to agree with us, even if there are these, hiccups in how we're communicating with each other. And so I have some concern about our initiative. Like I've been trying to encourage people to want to understand where Trump voters are coming from, not to agree with them, not to empathize with them. I agree that white voters, it's like boo-hoo, poor white voters. It's not poor white voters that actually elected Trump. The same old Republicans, the same old Republican margin that has elected every Republican president in Donald's term forever. It was upper middle class voters that were his primary cohort. However, the people, we have to use something to appeal to people. We have to be able to communicate with people to get them to vote for our side. And I have skepticism that like foregrounding race in these conversations, because they are like many of them are racist, is not particularly constructive. And that's why I think that like the economics arguments that sometimes get, not the arguments, but that get characterized as kind of like a distraction, or people who don't really care about race, or, you know, I think that's the opposite of what's true. I think that looking to be results oriented and what's going to be most effective, if we all agree that people are racist and we all agree that this is a problem, we have to look to what, if anything, can motivate people to vote differently. Go ahead, both sides.
Before I get my little point, I just had a question. Do you feel that you had to learn to like Black people or accept Black people? Do you feel you were ever racist before? No. Okay, because someone said that, oh, white people are racist. I know it's not you. But I just want to prove my point because I don't agree with stuff like that. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is I feel like, you know, the initial conversation was about Charlottesville, what happened there and all that, and these allies, whatever, which I think are very important because in this country, we're not going to be able to do this race war alone. We're going to need people.
Okay. Yo, yeah, he just fell off the cliff with that part. But that nigga think he's slick. He has a question to be condescending. Did you ever learn how to love Black people?
Whatever the fuck that means. But hey, man, I'll be honest. I'll let him say his spiel, and then we close after that.
Go ahead.
That look like our enemies in order to overcome the problem that we have. You know what I'm trying to say? If it's just Black versus white, that's going to be a hard battle. But if we have those people on our side, and because it seems like we're attacking those people who want to help us. They might not understand fully, but at least their minds and hearts are in the right place. I don't agree with this. I want to help, but then you still say, oh, you can never help. You don't know how I feel, blah, blah, blah. But they're like, yo, I'm here.
You ever been to boot camp?
Huh?
You ever been to boot camp?
No.
Boot camp is full of a whole bunch of people that want to serve the country but have no idea what the fuck they're doing. So they get basic training. So if you want to help us, you got to shut up and learn what the fuck is going on before you go fight this fight.
Those people that
critiquing is not
Oh, dear.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is just squabbling at this point. This nigga said they got to go through basic training.
It's just like niggas like this, because they think at such a low level. It's just like, bro, he doesn't want to, like, when an average Caucasian, especially one, well, not average, one who has influence and power, is coming to you and be like, what can I do to help you? All they're saying is, what can I do to keep you in line? Because I don't want you straying off the path that I've set out for the basically your nation of people. Because at the end of the day, like, whatever that nigga is, I can't remember his name, what he said is completely mistaken. And that's the problem with so-called Black people. It's always like, oh, okay, we have to fight against white people. We can't just do our own thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're so attached to the concept of this society, and a lot of the programming through what's taught in history and, you know, Jim Crow and the slavery and all those things were terrible events. But like, sometimes you just gotta move. You gotta move on. You gotta let that shit go.
Exactly.
So you can pursue your goals and actually accomplish things in life. Like, you can't be so caught up in the things of the past and you know, the things that white people did to us, quote unquote, and how we need to, you know, repair a relationship with them, or, you know, get them on our side. Tell them, no, fuck all that shit. How about you just do your own thing? And if you do, and if you attempt doing your own thing, people are going to respect you more. And of course, it starts on the individual level. Like you said, Ghetto, starts with you as a Black man repairing your spirit through the scriptures. Then when you prepare your spirit, you'll be able to grow physically, mentally, emotionally, physically as well. You'll be able to have a better relationship with not only the Most High, but with other men. And of course, life is a team game. So when you have a better relationship with Father up above, and with men on this physical realm as well, you'll be more successful in life. When you're more successful in life, you know, you'll have a better chance of getting the right woman. You get the right woman, you have great children, and then you meet other brothers who have done the same thing you have. Y'all come together, and then from there you can build something. That's what life is about. That's what it's always been about. You get to a point where you're successful. Then once you reach that point, you link up with other like-minded successful brothers, and y'all build something further. That's growth. That's really how you solve a lot of these issues. And then of course, once you've built something and you have money, because like I read earlier in Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, money solves problems. That's just how it is. So once you've built up that wealth for yourself, and you find a group of like-minded brothers, and you have a pool, then you can actually accomplish things. Maybe fix a community, improve the education system, whatever you want to do. But first, it's got to start with you, man. Shoot. But that's all I want to say on this topic. I'll be honest, we've been going for like 3.5 hours. We kind of squeeze this lemon dry. You know what I'm saying?
And these dumbasses. That last part is about the basic training. Yeah. What is this guy talking about?
Yeah, without the white man, we got to get him on our side because we can't. If we fight white people, we're gonna lose. So we need white people on our side to help us.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem with this conversation. Even though the last, of course, not that nigga with the braids. That nigga just stupid. But the two people that went before him, they asked the correct question within the frame of the conversation. It's just that this whole conversation is based off of a premise that is completely illogical for not only any nation, any quote unquote race, or any quote unquote nation or race of people to have, but it's even more egregious for our people to have. So it's just you trying to get allies from all these different nations and shit. Meanwhile, the Most High chose our nation to be valuable above everybody. So it's like, what do we need all these allies for? We have our ally already. It's the Most High Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shah. We already have our allies, dude. Who cares about the fact that these people, they have only a select few of them based off of the population itself. A select few of them own companies, and they just so happen to make more money than you right now. Okay, so what? Do your best to come up with an idea that could potentially make you just as much money, if not more money than them. Since you're so worried about their pockets, just come up with an idea yourself. That'll work out for you. That way, now you're your own boss. You got your own shit going, if that's what matters to you. But at the end of the day, what needs to matter to you is having an understanding of who your real ally is. Your ally is the Most High Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shah. It's that simple. Once you have your real allies with you, you will live a peaceable life no matter what your lot is. And that's the problem. These guys, what's the scripture? Who can stand before envy? They so-called Caucasian men envies us. We envy them. That's not going to get us anywhere. Like, at the end of the day, we need to understand why they envy us. But the problem is we're not even aware they envy us. But we need to understand why, because we have something that their money, their land, or whatever, their things in the physical can't help them obtain. We have something. Well, the hopefully elect will have. We have something that they can never obtain, even through tears. What is that? Hebrews 12, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, Hebrews 12 and let me see. Hebrews.
Just, real quick, just to add on your point, just about envy. There really is a main problem that our people have, because we quote unquote say that they're oppressors. They are white supremacists, they're racist, but we really envy them. We want to be like them, and honestly, that's not the right spirit to have. And I just want to bring up one precept. It's Proverbs 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the forward is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. Now you see all these brothers, that not only are they envious, they're just asking, hey man, can you give up some of your privilege so I can receive? Well, hey, aren't they the oppressor? So basically, if you want some of their privilege, you want to be an oppressor as well. If you want what they have, you want to be an oppressor as well. If you want to be equal to them, you want to be an oppressor as well. So it's not even the fact that they're oppressing you. You wish you had the same rights as them to oppress other people, but that's something that you quite don't fully understand if you want to be them so bad, as opposed to doing your own thing. Because if you were doing your own thing, then you wouldn't be worried about getting a handout from your quote unquote oppressor.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to get it real quick, just to piggyback off that point, because obviously the oppressor is, especially in these times, is Esau/Edom. Hebrews 12, starting at verse 16, lest there be any fornicator or profane person like Esau, who for one morsel of food sold his birthright. For you know that afterward, when he wanted to inherit the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place for repentance, though he sought it diligently with tears. And that's why they're envious of you, because they can never get, ever. They will never get what you got. What you got is something that they can never have, no matter how much they try to beg and cry and plead for it and do some invasion of the body snatchers type technology or whatever. They'll never get it. And they're desperate. They're desperate to get it. That's why they're always trying to oppress you, so that way they can trick you into embracing how they want society to go. But no matter what, they're never gonna get it. They're never gonna get it. They are never ever gonna get it, and it pisses them off because they're trying to desperately change something that cannot be changed, which is the fact that Most High is the Holy One of Israel. He's not the Holy One of Edom or Idumea or any other nation. No, he's the Holy One of Israel. He's the Holy One of Jacob. And at the end of the day, he's not getting any of that, no matter how much money he buys, no matter what technological advancement that he builds. He's not getting any of that. This is what he's got right now. Satan has already given him his rewards in abundance. The sword, the wicked inventions, things of that nature. He's already been given this stuff. But the problem is, when you don't understand scripture, you never understand why things happen. Sometimes you understand what's happening, but you will never ever understand why. You never ever understand why he is the head and you are the tail. You'll never understand these things. Through studying scripture, you will understand it. So at the end of the day, the knowledge of the Most High is the most important thing you can have. The understanding that if you woke up this morning, nigga, you winning no matter what your lot is. You're still alive. Especially if you're alive and you're able to walk around and jump and use your body in a regular fashion, you're blessed already. Take that blessing and do the best you can to do something positive with it. Build on top of the blessing, the fundamental blessing that the Most High has already given you, which is your life itself. Build upon that blessing. But idiots like these people at the table, they don't want to build upon their fundamental blessing that they already have. They want to sit up there and just build upon their own delusions and their own envy for a man who will never ever truly be blessed no matter what he does. So it is what it is, let the dead bury the dead. So it is what it is.
So Swint, JT, y'all got closing points? If not, we just gonna end the video.
Yeah, I just got a precept. I just want to end it off on. This is Sirach chapter 30 and verse number 21. Give not thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. So I just wanted to get that, because we were talking about all that, with the brothers embrace the fetus mentality and whatnot. Hey man, even in captivity, you got to do your very best to not divide yourself with a good day throughout your daily actions, man. As it also says in the book of Sirach. And all these brothers right here, when you embrace a victimhood mentality, not only are you defrauding yourself of a good day, but you defraud yourself of a good life, man, by embracing heaviness to the excess, by viewing yourself as the victim, as this white man in the video so accurately stated in regards to how so-called black people who embrace this mentality view themselves, man. I also want to get one more precept because this gives us the mentality that we should have in regards to, you know, what the condition that we in and whatnot, and why we should understand that we should have in regards to it, man, to give us some ease of mind and greener pastures to seek spiritually through this word, and to be able to look past this place. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So that's plain as day right there, man. You know, if you become one with the spirit of this place, it's going to destroy you in a variety of different ways. Not only that eventual lake of fire, second death destruction, which is going to be the apex of it, but also the destruction of your mind every day and your spirit every day by the certain things in which you embrace that are akin to the spirit that's pushed on how so-called black people in this world should view themselves. When you embrace it on a daily basis, you destroy yourself a little bit every day. And as we just read in Sirach, you're defrauding yourself because you're leading your mind over to destructive heaviness, and there's no way you can have any kind of a prosperous time or life or days while embracing that mentality. So arise from this place, man. View yourself as the precious gold that you actually are, you sons of Zion, and seek greener pastures elsewhere in the kingdom, spiritually right now, but also on the pathway to doing that, understand that you have certain abilities and gifts the Most High has given you, and learn how to capitalize on that while you're on this side, man. So you don't get in the rabbit hole of embracing these defeatist mentalities that these brothers and this batshit crazy woman in this video have. So shalom.
I just want to get this one verse in Ezekiel chapter 38, and I'm gonna just get verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Now, I just brought this up because we know, this is, in the process of being fulfilled. And the only reason I brought this out is, it's the Most High talking about putting hooks into their jaws, forcing them to do something, right? Like they might want to turn back, but no, he's forcing them to do something. So pretty much with this, with topics like this, for me, it's like you can talk and you can keep talking, and then you can talk for a month, and you can talk for some years, maybe even talk for a decade, but eventually you're gonna have to do something, man. So let's stop all that talking and do something, right? You know what I'm saying? And this just goes out to all these brothers and sisters that like arguing with the Caucasian, or like having these back and forths all the time that doesn't solve anything. Eventually you guys are going to have to do something about it, because I don't know when you'll realize it, but they're not just going to give it to you. You're going to have to take it. So that's pretty much it on that. This is a beautiful stream. It was nice being up here with you brothers. Shalom.
Honestly, just to end off with all the beautiful points that all you brothers have been mentioning, for all you young black men out there, maybe 19, 18, maybe even younger than that, just understand, no such thing as equality. Nothing is given for you, especially because you a nigga. You're going to have to take that shit. And with that, we're going to close the stream, man. Shalom, brothers.
Shalom.